Okay, and welcome to episode 4 Here on the Wastes. This is our weekly RPG based on the game system that I've created called Horizons Unknown After Earth. This is a game that is essentially a sci-fi fantasy that is in the distant future of 2422 on an alien world called Soldaria. In regards to our awesome adventures had last week, is they ventured deep into a deep dark mineshaft trying to elude their chasers, a group called the Blackhearts. And in doing so, they ran into two young children, one female and one male, Sarai and Blake, who posed to them a interesting question, which was, are you the ones who were sent to save us and protect us? Not really knowing the answer, not really even knowing about who these children are, they ventured deeper into the caverns themselves on the trust of following these two young children who were essentially around the ages of 10 and 11. And for Rev, noticed that they were scarred, battered, young, half human, half cybernetic. And in doing so, they tried to sneak themselves through the caverns and ended up rolling into a very large group with the young children described to them as ghosts, which you end up finding out are these white, cannibalistic, humanoid, elongated, biogenetic, mutated creatures that were created. You'd know enough to see that these were creatures that were much larger than you, almost 7 to 8 feet, elongated arms, cannibalistic, and some kind of just evil mutations that have been skittering through these caverns for a long time, causing havoc to these children, as well as others that they stated were deep within the mine shafts themselves. As you were able to luckily elude by the hero abilities of Otis over here, who used his last grenade, aka lovingly known as a room sweeper, essentially, saved both Skag and Rev here from certain death, and they were able to escape and reach the protective confines of the Haven. The Haven is a fortified, almost like bunker fortress that is deep within the caverns themselves, where they were able to come into contact with many, many other children, and even to the older ages of teenager to young adults, and then met the kind of the alien headmistress, or so, the protector of these young children, named Mother. You met Mother, and she merely grants you rest. A rest that you dearly are in need of, as you have been battered and bruised and essentially been on the run this whole day since you actually left the confines of Cambaron. And with that, we'll start the session here. What are you gentlemen doing?
Are we starting right where we left off
Right
last
where
time?
we left off. That is correct.
I think I'm bathing, aren't I?
I was
believe
talking
so.
to Mother, and she
Mother
offered me rest.
Mother offered you all rest. Rev was taken aside by some of the children, given food and rest. Skag was allowed to bathe in the springs that are beneath there, in order to help him kind of like pull himself together. After merely about 10 minutes ago suffering a serious concussion. And Rev, yes, the last contact you had with Mother, she merely stated you as the hero, and stated that whatever that you require in order to be the protector that they were hoping for.
Rev just wants to rest.
I think we're all exhausted at this
yeah,
point.
Rev was beat up from that last sonic boom grenade, so Rev just wants to.
I'm gonna head towards wherever.
Out.
Yeah, I'm gonna head towards wherever sleep occurs.
That's it. We're all resting. Good stream, guys. This one was a good episode.
Okay. So with
think
that,
it's a good time.
as you're going to try to kind of find kind of a place that you can kind of curl up, lay your head down. The children come over with, just kind of an air of curiosity, and kind of like, kind of look at you and get an assessment of you. They definitely have the look of wide-eyed children who have never kind of seen your likes, at least if anything, not in some long time. Sarai and Blake kind of hang out with Rev. They don't really say much to you at all. They just kind of allow you to take your rest if that is what you're doing. Skag, some of the children kind of come over to you and kind of watch you as you kind of like wade in the water and kind of sit there trying to like pull yourself together.
This doesn't sound like a good situation. I want to be in.
Yeah, that's bad.
How long are you just trying to kind of like wash the stuff off your face?
Yeah, pretty much just clean myself off.
Just going to clean yourself up? Okay, not a
Wait,
problem.
is it a hot spring? Because if it's a hot spring, I'm gonna pamper myself and I'm gonna wade in that water, whether or not those little kids look at me.
No, it is the reservoir itself is not a hot spring, but they do have like baths.
And yeah, I'm gonna probably just chill in there for a bit.
Like a bath. Okay,
I'm
so
gonna
then
light some candles, put on an episode of Sex and the City, and just relax for a little while.
As you kind of like, I guess you're asking them where you can go to like get a bath to kind of like sit and relax. One of the older children kind of like pull you over to like a small, like almost a little bit of a hovel where you can see that water's being pumped into a few large bathtubs that are essentially just kind of like pieced together metal and stuff, and you can see below it that obviously they have some kind of furnace core that is burning to keep the water. Essentially, it's not like super hot, but it's pretty warm.
It'll get the job done. Then I'm gonna be. You can catch me in there relaxing.
Okay. And then Otis.
I just want a bed. Can someone point me in the direction of a bed?
Okay. Mother looks at you and she waves over to two young girls who come over. These girls are probably around maybe 13 or 14. Equally as you can see that one has like a cybernetic arm, the other has like almost a fully cybernetic leg. They're exposed, their clothes are kind of like torn and ripped and dirtied. But they both kind of have like bows in their hair. There's still an element of like innocence to these young girls as they kind of like lead you over to a small room that's kind of built into the cavern side, where when you open it up, you can kind of see a nice like warm fire in there. It's very small. It's kind of an enclosed, almost like a stove oven of such, and a kind of a cot with a pillow there. They kind of look at you and they just go, "You can take rest here, sir."
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And they look at you and they just go, "Do you need water?" Your voice sounded weird there for a second.
Is there any alcohol?
They kind of look at you and they're like, "No, Mother doesn't allow."
It's another item for the list. Okay. Thank you. I'm gonna go to bed. I'm exhausted.
Okay.
Go find Rev.
And then they kind of look at you like,
Oh, the guy that looks like you.
and they kind of look at you and they just go, "Oh."
Oh.
And
God,
they kind of like like an episode of Sex and the City, the door slowly closes on you. as you see like the two young girls in the doorway just going.
And I pass out
As
if I could.
Yeah, as you're trying to lay down, you kind of take off your boots. You know, you obviously take off some of your equipment, place your carbine up against the wall. Rev, at last, kind of finds some sleep, as much as a for someone like him can. Skag kind of falls asleep in the bath himself, just kind of like propped up. Just, you know, the last thing he sees is kind of his bruises, thinking, I wasn't like this earlier this morning. You know, a lot has happened for him. Kind of like touches his head, kind of feels that red bump. Ugh. Lets out a little bit groan before sleep and exhaustion takes hold of him. As your eyes start to close, Otis, your sidekick goes off.
You got hit with that "you up" text.
It's on my wrist. That's where these things are. I look at it as it's notifying me, and I guess I flip it, turn it on or something, or check out.
You see that it
notification.
says an incoming voice message.
Is there a way I could play it just for myself?
Yeah. There's no one in the room.
Okay, then I play it. Boink.
As you hit the accept, essentially, button, you hear silence for a second. And then you kind of hear a heavy groan. And then you hear, "You're a hard man to kill. Still alive, are we? Nephew?"
Stepson.
Well, he's your uncle. Fine, he's your uncle now. Well, needless to say, I apologize. His stepson.
It's fine. I actually had a way to fix it.
Okay. He goes, "You have nothing to say for yourself?" It's an open channel. It's directly to you.
He could see me.
It's an open communication. It's an audio.
Okay. I say nothing. I'm just listening.
He goes, "I can hear you breathing."
I breathe loud for him.
And he goes, "You still running around like a dirty waste hound?"
Silence.
And he goes, "Your silence says a lot about yourself. You were silent when you were kicked out like a dog from your own city. You were silent when we killed your father. You were silent when we killed your mother."
And I go, and I hang up.
You told him, man. Oh, man.
That's how I handle
I'm
calls
worried
of
about
real
him
life.
tracking me. I'm worried about him tracking me. So that's I don't know how these things work. I've been on the run for some time. I'm kind of fried.
As you go to hang up, you notice that the channel doesn't close.
So I can still hear him, I guess.
He goes, "You still there?"
Yeah.
He goes, "What's it gonna take for you to just die?"
For you to die.
Well, you very well know that that's just not gonna happen, and you're in no position to do anything. The name of the Dirtbanger clan is over. You were the last. So why don't you just take your death like a man? For once. Do something like a man. I always try to teach you how to be one. Instead, you act like a spoiled brat. like a child. I can even hear it in that sorry laugh of yours.
You gotta find me.
You don't think that I'll be able to find you?
Mm-mm. I'm out of here, fuckhead.
In the end, we will see. And maybe just in the end, I won't even kill you. I'll just beat you over and over and over again. And every time that you want to die, I'll make sure to revive you and bring you back. And then I will beat you over and over again, Otis. It's time that maybe it's a lesson of just really, really hard love. Unfortunately, I don't even love you. Never did. Suffice it to say. So, the problem that we are posed with now is you've involved 2 other people. And we're going to have to take care of them as well. It was just you. But in typical dirtbanger fashion.
That's where you're wrong. I've got plenty more.
Plenty more?
Keep it up, Rufus.
Who is going to follow you? You're a problem that needs handling. And soon enough, you will be handled. And the channel closes.
Can I throw my communication thing at the wall?
It's up to you.
I want to do that.
So you take it off, you unclasp it, and you take it and you toss the whole sidekick.
Yeah. Oh, fuck,
And
I need this.
it doesn't allow you to communicate with your team members if that is the case.
Even though I really don't use it to communicate with them. I haven't explained that to them yet. Yeah, I got to go with it. I said I'm doing it, so I throw it at the wall.
Roll a d20 for me.
12.
You disable it. You crack it enough. It's still fixable. But it's enough
I
that
leave it there.
it shuts it off for...
I want to leave it there and just put my head on that pillow and hopefully fall asleep.
Okay. And with that, you fall asleep to the voice of your stepfather.
Step uncle. It's good, man. It's good. Whatever you want to call him.
And hang up. Your step whoever. Yeah, your stepdad. And sleep takes you.
Cool.
As you guys all wake up, fully rested, your hit points as well as your exhaust is fully restored.
All of us?
Yes. Any skills that had any kind of time duration is fully restored.
Is
What about my
that-
threat level?
You're taking a long rest. You're going to take the over 8 hours long rest. Your threat level remains either way you cut it. There are ways for you to remove that, and you should be using those ways to remove it.
You said exhaust too.
What way is it to remove threat?
Some of the
There's
skills,
skills.
there's skills
Yeah,
that actually
skills?
say that you drop threat.
And you said like
But for the most
all
part, we'll just
abilities.
play this. I'll let you drop half your total threat on a long rest. I don't know what it's gonna do for Skag and for Otis, who had been telling me they've been at maximum threat for
yeah,
quite some
I'm
time.
still probably going to be at max. So. Trying to.
Okay.
Yeah, since my threat dropping skill actually changed in the middle of this, I don't know if I should just go back to 0 or...
Yeah, you'd be fully at 0 right
Okay,
at this
okay.
point. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
You said all exhaust is recovered too.
All exhaust is recovered. Yes.
Nice. Thank you. Sorry about that.
And any skills that have any kind of time duration would be reset. Because some of them say like you can do it twice per day after a long rest. Essentially,
How
they're all
about ones
resets.
that require like a grenade or something? The
For
whole skill?
for you would just need to find a way to replenish them. The skill
Okay.
itself allows you to do 3, so you can still do 3. But for you, you can fix those or
Okay.
remake them. You'll just have to pay a little bit in
Figure
order
it
to
out
get
way.
some stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have the engineering skill?
Nope.
Okay, just as an easy thing for you, these two guys do, so you might want to go to them to have them fix it. They would be able to roll at advantage over always. You would not, as well as when you need to get any kind of resources and stuff to build one, they would get it at much less cost than you would
Okay.
because they are engineers. It's
Good
just
to
a
know.
benefit within itself. In the end, Skag might be a little bit better at it just because he'd be more weapon engineering, where Rev would be more all-purpose engineering. He would be able to
Yeah.
fix stuff.
I
more
do have
so.
a question during the rest. My 3 ways of the blade, where I choose what, like, kind of element my sword has. Is this something I can reset right now?
You would be able to reset. Yes, you have
Okay.
to. You have to spend.
Right. I have to spend exhaust, but if I wanted
You could
to,
do
I
it.
could-
Yes, absolutely,
Okay. Can I go ahead and do that right now?
absolutely. Go right ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I want to change my blade from deadly poison to hell to the fire.
Okay.
Fire buff. That's -4 exhaust for that.
Sorry, Eli's got a different cup every time I drink.
Oh, does it? Okay. With that, you all
phlegmy.
kind of almost simultaneously get a rap at your door, waking you from your sleep.
Get a what? I'm sorry. What did you say?
A heavy rap at the door.
Oh, okay.
Okay. What do you guys want to
Okay.
do?
Are we all together now?
I
No.
thought we were in separate rooms.
Yeah, I said that's why I said simultaneously. You all get a rap at your door.
Oh, it's like a wake-up call. I got
Right.
you.
Was I in a room with Sarai and Blake, since you said they kind of...
No, they kind of watched you until you fell asleep, and then they just left and closed. it.
Okay.
You are all in rooms that are completely just you, and Skag is actually in a bathtub.
Okay.
They,
Well, I
and they
was-
just say it's been the nicest bath that you've had since this morning.
Okay. Well, Rev was...
It's been a hard 24 hours.
Since Rev was, like, kind of resetting his blade, he was kind of polishing, cleaning off his blade, kind of getting ready for whatever the day was going to hold. As soon as the rap happens, he gets up, goes to the door, and says, "Who's there?"
And you hear the voice of Sarai. She goes, "Wake up. It's time to speak with Mother."
Okay. And Rev, since it's Sarai and it's a voice he trusts, he opens the door,
Okay.
sees her there, makes sure he gets all his stuff, and follows Sarai.
Okay.
I jump out of bed, grab my carbine, and swing the door open.
Okay. Right in front of you, you see Blake. And he just goes, excuse me, he just goes, "Are you pointing a gun at him?"
No, I kind of have it down at my waist,
Okay.
just to say, "Hey,
Okay.
I got a gun."
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then Blake looks at you and he just goes, "Sir, Mother's requesting you."
Ah, good morning.
"Morning to you."
Are we gonna get to eat?
And he looks at you and he just goes, "Well, sir, I'll make sure to bring you over something when you're speaking with Mother."
You the boy, Blake. You the boy.
And he just kind of
My
looks at
boy,
you and he
dude.
just goes, "Thank you, sir." And he kind of like skitters off.
So, I guess I'm an easy guy, so I feel like I just throw that carbine against my shoulder and I mosey on over to wherever Mother is.
Okay,
I wake up pretty fast. I lived a slave life, so.
fair enough. Fair enough. Skag.
Yeah, so at this point, since I fell asleep in the tub, I'm going to assume the rapping on the door scares me awake.
Probably,
so in
right.
that, I'm a little confused too, because I'm not, used to my surroundings. So immediately I just yell out, "What?"
Okay. You hear a young voice who just goes, "Excuse me, sir. Mother is requesting you.
I'm just gonna say I'll be there in a minute, and I realize I'm in this tub, pruny as hell. So I hop out, and I gotta go pee. Should I
Okay.
roll for accuracy, or is that? Can I just do that and then
You can
go
just do
meet
that.
mother? Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. Get ready, and then meet mother.
Okay.
Don't piss yourself.
Okay. So as you guys kind of pull yourself together and you do whatever nature calls, you do notice that there's a group that is kind of like beckoning you this way to kind of lead you and guide you towards where Mother is. Mother is essentially sitting almost in the middle of this very, very large cavern itself now. She's sitting which would almost be like a makeshift kind of like a powwow or a sit down. There are almost kind of like little rock boulders that are stretched out long enough that you can kind of sit on them, and they're kind of almost like makeshift like cushions that are sat there. These are merely just kind of like patchwork stuff that has been pulled together. You guess it's probably been stitched and put together by what they've kind of can scavenge from the big mining, the broke down mining machines that were in there. And there were two of them. And they essentially make the backdrop of this small little enclosed kind of like place. It's filled with a few candles as well as some kind of lit lanterns. It gives off enough light in this very, very kind of like still relatively dark, confined cavern within itself. You did notice that, as you remember, you guys were coming into the cavern, that a lot of the power lines had been cut. So you figure that even some of them have been cut even into with this fortress within itself. So they're just kind of using whatever they can kind of find or scavenge together to kind of create any kind of light. But they do kind of have like the burning furnaces that are giving off some heat and some light that are casting very, very huge shadows upon the cavern side. She is kind of sitting there by herself. No one else is next to her. The children stand outside, this kind of almost like horseshoe, like they dare not venture in. You guess this is a place that is designated for the serious talks. Or just Mother's own personal space. Almost like she sits there kind of cross-legged. She sits there on the ground, not on any of the boulders. She is still in her long kind of flowing gown with her arms kind of crossed. Her kind of silvery like skin kind of glistens off the light itself, and her very kind of like large kind of silvery black alien eyes kind of look up as she sees Rev kind of be the first one to kind of come towards the circle. As that kind of happens, the children kind of look at you, and like almost in synchronicity, they all go and kind of extend a hand for you to please join the circle.
Well, since Rev's the first one in, he has enormous respect for Mother because he's taking care of all these children. So he walks in. Yeah. He walks into the circle. He bows to her. Huh? What?
I was talking to Scott. I said it's 2018. You can't assume.
Oh, because I'm sorry. You just said, he goes, I have great respect for him, and I just go, oh, her? Like Mother?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Great respect for Mother, whatever gender they may be. And he bows to Mother, and he sits at one of the rocks on one of the cushions there, just to the side, not directly across from her, off to the side, because he assumes Otis might want that honor as being the hero of the group.
Okay. As that happens, probably like 10 seconds later, Otis reaches the meeting place, and kind of sees Rev sitting off to one of the boulders to the side. the children again in unison as you kind of walk up, extend a hand for you to take a seat.
I'm gonna walk inside. Just gonna nod over to Mother, stare at her, and I'm gonna sit right next to Rev.
Okay.
On my same boulder?
Or at the bottom of your boulder.
Oh, so like
Okay.
you're actually sitting on the ground as he's sitting on the boulder himself.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And then just a couple seconds after that, Skag. The same situation as you kind of reach this kind of place, this meeting place. The children in unison beckon you to take a seat.
I'm gonna walk in and stand next to them, but as I'm walking there, I don't break contact with looking at Mother.
Okay. She merely kind of like looks at you, and with the last conversation you had, you could hear her voice in your head. This time, she actually speaks to you without doing that. And she looks at Skag and she just goes, "How are we feeling today?"
I got much needed beauty rest. I'm feeling great. And then I'm gonna look at Rev and Otis, say, "How did you guys sleep?"
Mother merely just sits there and listens.
Rev says, well, this is the strangest situation I've been in a long time, but I was so beat I slept through the night.
I got to go to sleep.
Otis eloquent as ever.
Skag and Rev, roll awareness.
Okay. Is this at advantage since I have awareness?
Yes.
Or not at okay.
Yes.
And it's a 20, right?
D20, please. Yes.
Yeah, 12.
9 was my highest.
Okay. Skag, you notice that Otis is a bit agitated, and that his sidekick is not on his wrist. Since you're standing right next to him.
I'm gonna bring that up and lean into him and say, "Hey, what happened to your sidekick?"
It was on some mode where it has some asshole say stuff to me, and it pissed me off, and I chucked it at the wall.
I'm not gonna question it further. You should have Rev take a look at it though. Maybe we can get it up and running if you broke it.
Yeah, and Rev's like, yeah, if you broke it, I can fix it. No worries, man.
Do I need it?
Well, I don't know about you, but me and Skag have been contacting during fights so that we can, coordinate our efforts. I feel like that might be important, especially since you're usually
Wait,
shooting too
I
far
heard
away.
your voice in my... Oh, I feel dumb.
What, did you not know you could talk to us, man?
No.
Did you just think you were hearing voices of us and never thought to bring it up to us?
It was really weird in the cave back there. I thought Rev was in my head.
Otis, you notice that Mother is looking directly at you, and you hear her voice in your head.
Go ahead.
She just goes, you hear, "Hero, is there a reason why you don't trust your friends? Are they not to be trusted?"
Can I talk back to her, or I have to talk to her?
You can try.
Oh. All right, what did she say again? I'm sorry. My thoughts.
She just goes, "Hero, is there a reason why you don't trust your friends? Are they not to be trusted?"
And then I think really hard that they could be trusted. That's all I'm thinking is they can be trusted.
I'm sure some portion of that is they would be trusted more with alcohol.
And I like look at her and give her a weird look, and I'm like kind of like jolting the thought out of my head towards her, like thinking I could do it.
Okay.
At that point, by the way, I want to, as Skag, reach in and say, "Hey man, do you have to go to the restroom? You're looking a little disgruntled right there."
I'm okay. I'm okay.
We don't want to repeat, okay? Be careful.
With that, you don't hear her voice anymore, and she kind of like looks away, And then she kind of, you get the sense that she's looking to all of you. And she just goes, I'm sure that you have questions for me, as I have questions for you. So,
I've been wondering, what do you
Yes?
need out of us? Like,
well, we were under the impression that you were the ones that Rose sent. You were the ones hired to help protect and save us here. But it
What I think-
seems that
so we have to stay here? Like, is there a task?
Yeah, what I think Otis is trying to say is, how are we to protect you? Are you expecting us to kill the monsters in here, or are we escorting you out?
Yeah, that's a better question.
she takes that question, she just goes, they're good questions and I will get to those. She goes, Rev, do you have anything? Or do you feel the same way as your friends?
I do, but I want to know, how did you all end up down here in the first place? Because this is no place for 100 kids to be stuck in a cave. How did you even get in here?
She kind of sits back, kind of takes a look at you. And with that, she kind of goes like this, and the children kind of back up and kind of just go on to their merry way, doing whatever they were doing before. Before, they were kind of just like, they're just watching, curious to see what was going to transpire. You do see Sarai and Blake come up, though, and they take a seat on the other far rock.
Okay.
And she goes, I guess I should tell you our story. She goes, my real name is Lila. And as you see, I'm not fully alien or Saldaran, and I'm not fully human. She says that she is over 100 years old, and she is a result of a biogenetic experiment from a wonderful scientist that she referred to as Mother. And she tells you her name was Celine Anders. She says that Mother had been working on creating genetically crossbreeding between humans and Saldarians to create higher beings. She said, we were created to be the ones to help survive on Soldaria once the human race would be obliterated by the war itself. And she goes, and I know you understand which war I'm talking about, correct?
I don't know what war you're talking about.
Is this the one that Trump started?
She looks, she just goes, the war that was going to end all wars, the war between man and machine.
Oh, the Skynet war.
Well, I mean, I'm half machine and half man, so I know there's tension in places I'm not allowed, but I
Would
didn't
we
there's
know
an
there's-
active war going
Yeah.
on. Do we know of a specific war she's
She
talking
she
about?
looks at you quizzically a bit. Roll for knowledge.
Okay. I don't have.
Just
each,
Rev.
each one of you, please.
I got 11.
I got a 9.
I rolled 2.
Okay.
We're all dumb.
For,
I
s-
don't
for
have a
some
clue
reason,
about
for
it,
some
so-
reason, what she speaks of eludes you. Maybe you believe that it's something that is beyond your time.
Yeah, maybe she's 100 years old. Maybe it's before our time or something.
But you are aware that there is a tension and disgust between man and machine.
Rev would probably know it more than any of us.
Rev would be
Well,
aware of it because he knows that in many places, his kind, even though he is part human, he is looked down as machine.
Yeah, I avoid places where I'm not allowed, and if I have to go through them, I heavily disguise myself.
Right. And she looks at you and she just goes, maybe I should explain that. Is that okay?
Yeah, if there's a war, I need to know about it.
I think we
Okay.
all do.
This was a story and information that was passed down from my mother, who was probably passed down from her mother beyond. Do you guys know the reason why humans are even on this planet?
I
And
thought that.
she looks at Skag and she looks at Otis. You must be aware that you are not a part of this world.
My mother used to tell us stories, but of like distant worlds. Like, I don't know. I never really paid attention.
And she looks at you and she just kind of nods. She just goes, have you heard of Earth?
It sounds like it's the right name
And she goes,
that she would say.
Earth is the origin planet of humanity. Unfortunately, many, many, many centuries ago, your kind,
Earthians.
well, yes, I'm sure that's what they were called. She looks at you and just goes, your own planet is now dead. The planet that you, your race, is from, conceived from. You are not indigenous to this planet. That is the Saldarans. But you came here long, long ago because you had nowhere else to go. And you made a new world here. And it was a bright and beautiful world for some time. You created the great city that stands within the very center of this continent, the city known as Am-Sharai. Sits within the central hub, where all things human survived and thrived for a very, very long time. But like everything, unfortunately, for even that's a part of me as well, the weakness of humanity set a course, a new dark path. And for all the science and the technology that was created, and she looks at Rev, that what makes you whole. That what makes these children whole. And sometimes saving them, extending their life. That became the very thing that humanity hated. And it turned its back on it. And so began the war. Am-Sharai still sits within the central hub. Yet only a few humans, your own city, are allowed ever to go in. And those are known as the overseers. Those humans that have given their life to the constructs, to the machines. A symbiotic relationship between the two. But no one else dares goes within their walls. They are guarded and protected, as so many other cities here, as you probably know. You seem like this is all news to you. This was never told as stories that have been passed down?
I come from a very different place. Like where I lived.
I understand. Rev?
Yeah, I I have a past that I don't want to share, but most of my
I look at
interactions
him.
most of my interactions with people involve they pay me to protect somebody or kill somebody. I don't pay attention to whoever's in charge. All I know is the towns I stay out of and the towns I stay hidden in. That's all I know.
I understand. And she looks at Skag. She goes, and you? She goes, I see that you are what they would call like those like those who stand outside the cavern.
What do you mean, those who stand outside the cavern?
She goes, you know who I'm talking about. Those who ride the steeds.
So you're saying I look like one of the bad guys?
He goes, do you not?
I don't believe I do. I'm standing here on this side with you, aren't I?
She looks at you and she just goes, I do understand, and I please forgive me, don't take it wrong. But you both are dressed the same, are you not? You wear your weapons on your hips. You wear those long cloaks.
It's a very limited fashion out here in the waste.
She kind of looks at you. She understands what you're trying to say, and she just goes, I will say no more.
I'm just gonna nod at her.
So, let me tell you a little bit about Rose. You have met those things that are outside within the caverns themselves, have you not?
The ghost?
Yeah, we were up close and personal for a bit.
She looks at you and she goes, yes, that's what the children call them.
What do you call them?
She goes, they're known as the Hallowed Ones, but you can call them ghosts. You can call them skitterers. You can call them whatever you like. But they are a plague within these caverns, and they themselves have done numerous hideous things to many of our own kind, as we have ventured out within the caves themselves as well in order to scavenge, to find food.
Where are these things from? Are they any relation to your mother who was creating genetically modified beings? Does she have anything to do with these beings?
She looks at you and she says, maybe and maybe not. For my mother was murdered and killed by her partner.
And why was that, Mother? Do you know?
And she goes, yes, I do. She goes, you have to understand that there are many groups, there are many people, as you could probably attest to, Rev, that don't like half-breeds.
She's right.
She goes, and that's what we are. That's what we were created to be. And when they found out that they were fusing human DNA with alien DNA, there were many people who pressured and threatened my mother. who only watched over and protected so many of us, her creations. But her partner, the one we knew as father, decided that it was easier to sell us to the highest bidders. So many of us were enslaved. Many of us were abused and tortured for pleasure and for gain. And many of us were used to be weapons.
What were you?
I was used to be exactly what Mother wanted us to be. Enlightened beings that could survive even after humanity had passed on. Those able to continue to adapt and to grow, and maybe in time to repair the frictions between so many factions in this world. We were not here to fight. We weren't created to fight. We were created to be able to see the bigger picture.
Well, is this father still around, or is he gone like your mother?
And she goes, almost like a twinge reaches her lip, and she just goes, unfortunately, Father is still alive. And those things that you have seen in the caverns are his new mutations. And she looks at you both, and she looks at Skag, and she just goes, humans and their chemistry sets.
Makes no sense to me. I don't get that. She's kind of digging at us.
I'm just gonna scowl at her and not say anything. She's already on thin ice with me.
Rev understands her hatred, although he's kind of learned to get by in the world despite of it. But he is still worried about this father, because if he's in trouble, if he's in charge of these ghosts, he wants to ask her, is Father in these caves with you? Is he who you're hiding from down here?
And she goes, no. Father sits pretty within the confines of San Dormo.
San Dormo.
She goes, I'm sure that you know of San Dormo.
I've been there a time or two.
Have you been there? That's interesting.
Possibly.
And
My
she
father
goes,
used to take us places when we were younger.
she looks at you, Otis, and she just goes, are you one with the broken?
And I try to do the thought speak at her and say why.
And
Wait. Is she referring to the association Broken Keepers?
No, they're just called the broken.
Oh, okay.
She
Sorry.
she looks back at you and she just goes, you know why.
I think it just says it on my face that she's right.
Do you see this guy?
But I
she say
don't
this out
admit
loud?
it.
no,
Yeah, she
he's
said
like, well, he's thinking to her and he's
Oh.
thinking back.
Okay, I didn't know if she had
Yeah,
said that.
it's
She
the
just said it out loud.
telepathic.
At this point, then, yeah, I'm fairly,
You kind of like
It's
watching his kind of like
obvious what-
face,
yeah.
yeah.
and I'm pretty sure I'm clued in on the fact that she could talk to people through their minds, and she's already done that.
Right, she's
So I'm
she's done it
gonna
with you
look-
as well.
I'm gonna look directly at Otis to say, what is she saying? I'm putting you on the spot, man.
Roll for being
She's-
put on the spot.
Yeah.
Roll for intimidation.
I mean, she's right. I thought it was a little obvious, but guess not.
Right about what, Otis? You're clue us in.
Well, I thought she said out loud that she
Okay.
asked that out loud.
No, she said it in your guys'
She
head.
said telepathically to you because you said it telepathic
Oh.
to her.
I thought it. the answers. All right, my
No,
fault.
I apologize.
Immersion broken.
So he's saying that to me. She knows things. She could read our minds or something.
I'm just gonna look quizzically at Rev and leave it at that. I feel
Rev.
like Otis is just a steel door that I'm not gonna be able to open.
Rev's kind of clueless here. He doesn't understand that there's a mental conversation going on right now. Because for
Fair
him,
enough,
everything's technical, vocal.
Mhm.
Even though she's spoken their minds, he still doesn't understand this whole mind talking thing. So
Right.
he knows about Sandormo. He might have traveled through it. He has no idea that there might be some connection with
Okay.
Otis and Sandormo.
And she goes, well, let me just try to explain some more for clarification for you all. She goes, before some of us were enslaved, before some of us were killed, before some of us were enslaved, my mother was able to get some of us out of the city itself, to smuggle us out, so to say. Unfortunately, there was no time for her to tell us anything. There was no time for us to even pack anything. And we were smuggled out and left to fend for ourselves. As I've found out later that mother had been murdered by father, that I had no purpose. I did not know what to do. But there had been wars and fighting going on throughout these lands, hence the reason why they're called the Wastes. And there were so many children, those just like myself, that needed protection and saving, like mother did for me. And so by example, and with essentially nothing else for me to be or to do, I became their mother and protector. But for many of us, and for many of our kind, as you've seen the children, they have been battered, they have been bruised, they have been left for dead, they have been tossed away, that there was not much life for us here on the surface. It was better for us just to disappear. And where do you go? The only place to go is below ground, where they would never know that we even existed.
But do you like living here?
And she just goes, we make do.
I'm gonna smack him on the back of the head and say, "Of course they don't like living here."
Yeah. Sarai and Blake kind of just go,
Yeah.
you know, they just kind of like,
All the kids turn at you in disgust.
Well, Rev is like, he wants to help these kids. So he's like, he asked Mother, what is it that we can do if you're not safe on the surface and you're not safe down here?
and
What is it that we
this-
three can do to help?
This is the first time where she actually moves, and she slides closer to you, and to all three of you. And there's a look of kind of hesitation and maybe panic now that is setting in. And she kind of turns herself as not to show Sarai and Blake who are sitting right there. And she kind of leans in, and she just goes, that has been created within these caverns has been sent here to wipe us out, specifically. More and more grow every day into these caverns. But they're not the worst of it. They've created larger ones
Sarai said something about the alphas.
That is what we are calling them. And they alone have killed so many of us. We just don't have the abilities to fight them. We are not warriors.
Nobody? Not one?
If you have seen those within the caves, and how did you feel when you saw them, Otis, son of Garth?
They're scary.
Yeah, they're hard to fight in these caves, that's for damn sure.
And she looks at you, and she just goes, she looks at Skag as well, and she just goes, imagine bigger ones, more vicious, more aggressive, and they're smart. They're organizing the rest of them. They're making coordinated attacks now. The other ones, we know our ways by them if we see them. We can escape some of them. But these, they can see. And they can see in the darkness. They can speak their language, whatever language that might be. They are meant to be the end of us. And I can tell you why. And she picks up one of the lanterns. And she kind of lifts it up higher. And she just goes, look at the walls. Tell me what you see. Everybody roll awareness, please.
Okay.
12.
10.
18.
Okay.
Nice.
Ooh, legal.
So, absolutely, Rev can see everything that she's going to describe, as well as, for the most part, so are you, Otis. You see colored rocks that seem to kind of jut out, that don't seem to be flush and the same color as the kind of the brownish, dark brown earth rock faces of this cavern itself. You also see crystalline kind of rocks as well that have essentially almost like a translucent coloration to them, that you would figure that even if you put a light directly up to it, then you might even get like the rainbow prism kind of like crystalline look. And she goes, they're here for this. She goes,
And can Rev ask a question?
yeah.
Rev says, "Are these gemstones or diamonds? What is in this cave?"
Are they worth anything?
Rev, roll knowledge. Actually, all of you roll knowledge.
Okay.
Actually,
Do
Did
I
any-
have
did-
knowledge? 'Cause
yeah. Do anybody have science?
science, bitch.
I have engineering. I don't have no. I don't have science or intellect
No
or knowledge.
Okay, so just roll knowledge then, please.
I'm steeled, so I
Actually-
know it's not steel.
No,
But
it's
I can tell
not.
you
It's
guys
not
that much.
steel, but you can definitely roll it. Go ahead and roll survivability, Otis.
I rolled a 16 on knowledge, by the way.
I rolled
Oh,
a 10.
unless you have knowledge. What?
20. I had an 18 and a 20.
Okay. This essentially would be for Otis and Rev. The initial rock that you were looking at there was kind of jutting out, that almost has kind of like a purplish hue to it, and it's not a crystalline look and stuff like that or anything like that. It's almost like purplish, like obsidian, like kind of like a very dark.
It's a mineral, Marie.
It's Marie. It's minerals. You know that to be cerulean.
Cerulean, okay.
Cerulean is something that is natural. It is an alien compound that is used as a conductor and a stabilizer for heavy iron fusion cores. And it's extremely rare. You can't actually build fusion cores without cerulean.
Oh, okay.
So it looks like they are.
So we
pretty
know that,
expensive.
like me
Yeah,
and
you
Rev
you
know
would
that?
Rev you Rev know that. Obviously, you probably end up telling this.
I nudge
to
him.
Skag.
I nudge him. Like I just keep tapping him, and my eyes are like seeing money or checks.
Yep. And then, especially for Rev, the crystalline, kind of like prism, translucent mineral that is jutting out is phyllium, which is a natural compound found here on Saldaria that is used as one of the major compounds, extremely highly potent in all of the synthetic and hallucinogenic drugs that are owned and run by the Broken.
Do we both know? Oh, well, we both.
You
know
would
that.
both know that. Rev
I
would have
keep
more
tapping him more.
information on exactly what it is 100% used for, and maybe like the breakdown of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you saw it, he would just go, "Oh, I know what that is." But you hearing, you knowing that as well as being the possibility of phyllium, which would be the same thing.
I tap him like even quicker, and I'm just excited.
At this point, I think I should say something. I'm like, what? What is it? What are those? Otis?
Oh, you! Whoa!
I'm assuming they're worth something.
Oh yeah.
This is getting good.
Yeah.
And Rev just says it's ceruleum and phyllium. These are very, very valuable minerals in here. We know why they want to get in here now.
Well, we're already
Exactly.
in here.
You know exactly. Are you saying this out loud?
I said this out loud. Yeah.
Wait, I missed what you said.
Mother, who is now leaning forward, has now retreated back.
I said out loud. I said we're in here, almost as to assume like we should take them.
I kind of shoot a glance at him with a small smile,
Okay.
but I hide it quickly.
Roll for that. Roll for deception.
Roll
Yeah.
sneak.
Well, 7.
Yeah.
Oh, you were cut.
It was a really dumb look.
Rev, are you kind of watching them too, or you just have your eyes on?
I'm
Are you kind of taking in
these
everything?
These guys are almost like children to me sometime with their little antics. I'm kind of just, I would say I'm zoned in on these. I
Okay.
can't believe what I'm seeing. So I don't really even know what's going on.
Because it's like an amazing sight.
Oh
There's
yeah,
so much of it, I assume.
yeah. I'm surprised to see something so valuable in this cave.
Skag, roll awareness really quick, please.
16.
Okay. You catch a glance as Otis is trying to kind of like hide his interest and his enthusiasm that Mother as well as Sarai and Blake have seen through the ruse a bit. And now are looking directly. They're not looking at you, Skag. They're looking directly at Otis.
And he don't care.
I think at that point I'm
Because
gonna look at.
he doesn't think anything of it.
I'm just gonna look at Otis to say, "All right, calm down, calm down, calm down."
And I kind of like look around and notice that, I'm overexcited, so I kind of tone it down, but I
You do
can
your
barely
best to kind of
contain
like bring it
myself.
down.
Yeah.
Like he's like going,
like,
woo woo sa woo
Out
sa.
loud, Dad. I'm calm. I'm calm.
Mother re-engages the conversation. She just goes, "You seem to know what this yield is. I'm guessing by the look on your faces."
And Rev says to Mother, he's kind of come out of his stupor of seeing this, and he says to Mother, how many people know about this? Because you can't hide wealth like this and hope to go unnoticed.
We hit the mother lode.
And
Oh God.
she looks at you and she just goes, I don't know.
Does father know that this is here?
And she kind of like looks at you. And for the first time since she kind of like the twitch, she just kind of like slams her hand down. And you can actually, she unleashes it from the inside of the sleeves and she slams it down. You can see this very kind of elongated, humanoid yet silvery skinned alien hand with fingers that are like twice as long as of normal hands. You can see why that she's protected it and keep them safe. And she kind of slams it on the ground. She just goes, Father killed mother. And father's trying to kill us.
Oh,
And I hate to break it to you, Otis, son of Garth, but he's been trying to kill you too.
well, you gotta kill him.
Well, that finally gets Rev's attention. Rev goes, Otis, do you know who this father is?
I don't.
Oh
don't
wait,
think so.
I obviously since I'm part of this conversation, I'm gonna
Absolutely.
chip in too and say, you did say last night you had some issue with your sidekick. Is it related to this, Otis?
In your head, Otis, you hear, is it?
Ooh, she's getting snippy now.
Now, do I know who we're talking about, but
Do
do I
you?
know? I don't think so. I don't know him as father. Like, which she hasn't given a name.
Are you kind of like thinking this in your head?
Yeah, I'm thinking in my head. I'm trying to figure out
Trying to
what she's
connect some
talking
dots
about.
or
Yeah, I'm
something.
connecting dots. Yeah.
You,
Are you
In
okay,
game
Otis?
in
You've
real
been
time.
quiet a while.
yeah,
now.
you guys notice that Otis is kind of has like this blank kind of look on his face as he's like processing something.
Like that episode in Arrested Development when Michael's eternal clock goes on for 42 seconds and he's just staring at everyone trying to think of what to say. That's him right now.
That's good. In my thoughts, I'm like, are you talking about Rufus?
She looks at you and she just, and without saying a word, she just goes, who's Rufus?
And then I look at her just confused. I'm like, I guess we're not talking about the same person.
And then she kind of like, you see that her gaze was on Otis for a second, and then she pulls it away. And she just goes, those things that are outside the cavern, he created them. He's created the monsters that live within these caverns. These caverns almost belong to him. Every evil, every plague that is created with this very place that we call home, he is the architect of. Father. The one known as Eli Hauser.
Eli Hauser.
That's
Dude sounds like a dick.
Eli's name. That's Eli.
Joke's on you guys, I'm the bad guy.
Rev, after she kind of shows this emotion, says, Mother, you have two choices. You either get the kids out of here, let them take this treasure you have here.
And go where, Rev?
Well,
This
then
is our
your
home.
only choice is to fight then, and you have no way to fight. So I don't know what you want from us. How can we fight something this prolific?
Do you have any need for all these beautiful, beautiful, beautiful rocks?
Can you describe this Eli to me? Like, on a scale from 1 to 10, how handsome is he, Mother?
As far as I remember, he was very handsome. Up until the point that he became a cold-blooded murderer. And
Just
then
like the real Eli.
And then he became a monster.
I'm willing to take him out for these minerals.
With
I'm
that,
gonna
she
back
look.
off real quick from Otis.
She looks at. She leans back in, and you get the sense that she's leaning towards Skag and Rev and less towards Otis.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
And
fine.
she goes, "Can you help? If you were compensated."
I'm gonna look at Rev and just say,
you are
"We
here.
need weapons."
I feel like we're stuck here.
And she looks at
Sorry.
you, and she looks like the weapons that are sitting on the side of your hip, and she just goes, "But you have them already. You were sent
Not-
here for a reason."
These are not gonna be big enough to take out the alphas.
And Rev's been quiet. He's been kind of considering,
Okay.
and Rev is kind of thinking, if we're going to take on these alphas, we're going to need a plan or a weapon that is hyper effective against them. Blake had that sonic grenade that was really effective against the ghosts. Do you know of any weaknesses of these alphas that we could actually exploit to try to make this happen?
Yeah, Mother, are they weak against fire? And then I'm gonna look at Rev and I'm gonna say, if so, if we could get the parts, I could possibly put together a flamethrower.
She takes in both of your questions, and she just goes, "We
Otis
could
isn't allowed to touch it.
help make more of
Boom sweepers.
those what we call them as room sweepers. We can help you make more of the sound things."
Ooh, those,
you
those
get the
are
sense
very
she doesn't
good.
really know how to explain. She's not a fighter. She's like, she uses her hands a lot.
The boy handed
know,
me
like-
one of those room sweepers.
Those
That's
things.
what helped.
Okay. Are they effective against the alphas? Because you said they can see, so I don't know if they're as reliant on sonic input.
I can
And if
tell
they can
you
see in the,
that
if they
they're.
can see in the dark.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. What
I
was
was
that?
saying, if they can see us in the dark, we're gonna need some way of being able to see as well.
She goes, "I'm to assume that you not able to see in the dark?"
I can't.
I have an issue with it.
Me too. I definitely do.
Rev's like, no, I'm fine. I got infrared. I'm good.
Oh, but what is that, Rev? What is it
Infrared.
that you
It's
speak of? Yes.
It's a different wavelength of light that is. I don't need light to see. I can see heat.
Are you able
signatures.
to make something that your friends could use?
If you have some parts down here, I could maybe make some visors that would let us see infrared, see heat signatures. Yeah, I could definitely do that.
I think we could help you with that.
Rev is MacGyver.
Yeah.
It's all.
Mother hands Rev a safety pin. Boom! Here's some nitrogen.
Easy, man. No
with,
problem.
with that, she turns to Sarai. And she nods to Sarai. Sarai nods back, turns, and runs away.
I feel like at this point she's basically offering us a job to kind of wipe out these alphas, right? I feel like right now the three of us should like ask Mother for a second to like powwow about this, because if we're gonna do it, this is like a big job.
I can. If you need time, I completely understand.
Oh, we'll be real quick.
She goes.
And I want to powwow.
Okay. I'm to assume she's not going to move.
I don't. I think we should just. I don't care if we powwow right in front of her.
Yeah, we can just like
Yeah.
turn our backs to her.
Yeah.
Sure. Go right ahead.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
So
Rev,
what do you want to
Rev
do?
turns to both Skag and Otis, and he's
Lovely.
like, I think if we get a plan, I think we could do this.
I think if we do this, we can kill the other guy, the guy that made him, and get these minerals. I'm in.
I'm in. I don't trust these people. I just want to get this job done, paid, and over with.
Well,
we don't know if we're getting paid.
Oh, from those minerals.
Rev
From
is
the
not
minerals,
so much
see?
worried about what exactly they're paid, as long as they're paid. But he's a little. Otis keeps talking about killing the father, and Rev says, "I thought the father was in San Dormo. How do we take care of the father in San Dormo and these alphas? This is
no. We kill the alphas first. Then we promise we get the father. We could get in. I can get into San Dormo.
if this father guy is as important as she makes him sound like, that's going to be even harder than killing alphas to get into a town, kill him surrounded by guards."
I mean, I'm in for the alphas. We're here anyway. I feel like we're stuck.
Yeah.
So we got to take them
to
out.
fight.
And then we got to get these people out of here.
Okay, let's tell Mother we're in to take out the alphas, but the father thing is.
I'll bring it up afterwards.
Okay. Well, you're the leader, so.
I'm glad you see it my way.
All right, so we're in agreement. We'll take out the alphas and then we'll talk afterwards.
That's what you guys have to agree on?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're just going to, like, turn around and, like...
Yeah, so
talk to her?
1, 2, 3, break.
On 3, guys. We're the best.
Okay.
And since Mother doesn't really seem to like Otis too much, Rev says to Mother,
Nobody
we have
likes
decided.
Otis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before you do that, as you kind of, like, high-five break, and you turn around, you didn't notice that Mother had moved, and she's now standing next to Sarai, who's now back. And there are 2 large crates of the crystals as well as the compounds right next to her. And she goes, "We don't have whatever that checks or anything like that to pay you with, but we're willing to pay you in this. I'm to assume that you could fetch a good price in the world above?"
Wait, how many crates are there?
There's 2. One full of the Phyllium, one full of the Cerulean.
I'm gonna.
She looks at you, and this time, she speaks directly to you, telepathically.
To me or to Otis?
To everyone, telepathically.
Oh, okay.
She goes, "One crate for the alphas, the other for father."
Oh.
But there's
2 for
3 of
father.
us. Yeah.
These guys are.
One crate for each of us.
You trying to negotiate?
Try to negotiate. Let's roll on it.
Roll.
Let's roll on it.
Both of you guys roll persuasion.
I'm not rolling. I'm like.
Because you're
I'm not
merely trying to negotiate. Yeah, Rev is not.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm not
so-
negotiating.
All right, I have yeah, I get to roll twice.
Yep.
Nice. I rolled a 12.
I had a 1 and a 7.
Put it together. It's 17. Oh, fuck me.
And damn it.
Is that a 16?
It's an 18.
15.
It's an 18.
18.
You know what it is? It's larger than a 12.
Yeah.
Again, you hear, because Rev kind of just, you kind of put up your hands as you're kind of hearing this.
Yeah, I was like, I'm here to help them. I don't need to negotiate for it.
She speaks directly to Skag and to Otis, and she just goes, "This is more than you could ever ask for. Bring me the head of father, and maybe I'll think about more."
I smile at her.
I'm gonna shoot a look at Otis, realizing I was defeated in the negotiation, and just shoot a little agitated. Fine, I guess we'll do it for the lady with daddy issues, right? It's just
I don't acknowledge that.
about the situation. So
And I just smile at her, kind of in agreement to what she offered.
Okay.
We'll talk afterwards.
Are you you kind of paying attention to this, Rev? Just kind of watching them?
Rev's like looking at these kids and going, I can't believe these guys are bargaining for kids' lives right now. Rev's just, I know these guys are in it for the money, but he's just kind of fed up.
Slightly disgusted.
Yeah.
I have a terrible background.
Rev also knows how much this stuff is worth. So to him, the idea of bargaining for more of this is like the amount of stuff they're offering could pay for, I feel like, these guys living for years. So This is like worth more than any job he's taken in years, so he doesn't feel like he needs to bargain for more.
That's
Yeah.
just our feeling, though.
Like, Rev, go ahead and roll knowledge, just because
Okay.
of the Skag, roll it as well, just because you kind of both are like hired gun mercenaries, and Otis has kind of been enslaved and kind of on the run for a bit here.
I only rolled a 4 in knowledge here.
Skag,
I got a 12.
12. Skag, especially with, you tell me which one do you think you would know more of? The Philian or the Philium or the Cerulean?
The filing, because that one is used as a cord for like to weaponize, pretty much, right?
Oh, the Cerulean is.
No,
That's really-
Philium's drugs, Cerulean's the stabilizers for the
Then it would be that because of my engineering skill. I mostly
Makes
know
sense.
about
Okay.
weaponry.
Does
so-
make sense.
You know that Cerulean, especially for the kind of the haul that you're getting here, that on the market this could probably fetch you almost 10,000 checks, maybe more, if sold to the right connection.
Just Skag knows that, right?
Yeah, if the
Just
right
Skag?
connection.
Okay.
You think
Lord of
you-
War, Nicolas Cage over
Yeah,
here.
you
knows
think
that.
you think maybe on the low end, depending if you were just trying to get rid of it to anyone, that you could probably get 7,500 in a quick pinch.
Nice.
So a nice yield between the two.
So Rev's right.
Rev doesn't know, but he knows it's a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
I know. I'm just greedy at this point.
With that, as Skag kind of like takes a look at it, giving it a good stare, kind of like goes like it's like that. You see a small little grin of approval as he kind of like you can
Who sees it?
like you can on Skag. You guys both kind of like are looking at him, just going. Kind of like quickly kind of working the numbers.
I just stare. Yeah.
You guys are like friggin' Han Solo when Princess Leia gives him their, like, what is it, a wheelbarrow full of, credits or whatever they get.
Am I to say something aloud to that? Because otherwise
It's
I
up
was
to you.
just
It's up.
gonna-
It's
Oh
up
no,
to
you
you.
can say whatever.
I was just gonna keep it in to myself because obviously that's why I wanted more.
Okay, sure.
But I don't want to allude too much that I know about those specifically.
With that, Mother kind of again, she catches Skag's look. She kind of, is catching Otis's look, and with Otis, there's more trepidation with him. That the hero that she thought he was, maybe just isn't the case.
Slowly fading away.
So she
True.
walks towards Rev. That, let's be honest, seems to be the most upstanding, even for a guy who's a hired killer.
Hey, but I'm honest about it,
Fair enough. She walks up to you, and she goes, I don't know how this is done, but I saw Mother do it once. She kind of extends her hand out to you. She goes, do we have a deal?
Wait, the little girl said that?
Mother.
Uh-oh.
No, this is Mother.
Oh.
Rev looks
Or
Decide
actually, you know what?
to-
She would just say, do we have an accord?
at a chord. Okay. Rev looks to Otis. He looks to Skag. Kind of does a little,
Yeah.
make sure they're on the same page.
I give the little nod.
Yeah, not in agreement.
And I'll say, we have a deal.
Okay. As you kind of shake hands, Mother kind of like bows, and she thanks you. Little Sarai just goes. Blake goes. And then Mother kind of looks, and she nods, and behind you, all the children kind of.
It's like when a plane lands and all the white people clap,
The end of frickin', Clone
So
Wars.
all the kids came back.
Yeah. You
All
see,
right, so
you
I'm
see, they're
gonna-
kind of like peeking behind stuff, kind of like to see what was happening, and they all kind of like jump out. Yeah.
Otis sees the crowd and he's like, "Does anybody want to help?"
And all the children are just kind of like, yeah, me.
No, I mean the dangerous part.
And they all look at you and they just go, me.
Oh wow, really?
Wow. Looks
I'm
we
willing
got
to
some
take 'em all.
volunteers, man.
I whisper to Rev, "I'm willing to bring them all with us."
And Rev's like, we're not risking their lives, but we can. I bet you we can come up with a plan where we can get them to help us.
Rev, we have a whole army of children here at our disposal.
Yeah, and they're enhanced. You saw
And eager.
my boy over there and the girl.
Yeah, Derek, and that other one.
Okay. I think we can use them as a distraction. You saw how fast they are.
I thought you don't want to risk their life.
Shut up, he's agreeing with us now.
Distraction means they set off a bomb, they make some noise, then they run. Not they run in and start fighting like I did. My distraction was not as good. I think they could make a good distraction. That's how I think we should use these kids. I'm not having little kids fight 7,
But
8 foot giant alphas, man.
But if the
What do you think?
kids topple on top of each other, they could be the same height. They're clearly at advantage over us.
do any of you kids have weapons?
Mother chimes in, and she just goes, we can do what we can. We can help build some things. There's a few of us who can still fight. Maybe some of the older kids. Most of those who are protecting and fighting for us were
Yeah, we
killed
have
and
a
destroyed.
diversion. We have a diversion and help.
Okay, only the volunteers can help.
Yes, of course.
Anybody else, 12 or younger, they're nothing. Diversion is the most, and that's only
Sounds good.
fast.
Rev, what we're going to need to look for the most is whoever's been here the longest as well, because we don't know the tunnels in this system like they might.
Yeah, we're gonna need guides.
We can help you through the caves.
Okay.
We can do that. But you just goes, be aware that we are not fighters. We can do what we can. And she looks at Otis and she goes, and if you decide to use any of them as sacrificial lambs, then our deal is off.
I would never do that. They're kids. Plus, my boss would be a little mad about that. And I point to Rev.
I was like,
She
damn right.
She pulls back, and now that like the look of utter confusion, she just goes, I have a feeling, Skag, are you the boss? Because they keep saying each other is the boss. Like they don't know. Maybe I should be dealing with you.
You know what, Mother?
No. Oh.
I am the boss, yes.
I'm the leader. Rev's the boss because he pays me. I don't know what Skag does.
I don't know what Otis is talking about. I'm the boss over these two. Clearly.
Rev does not participate in this conversation.
Understood. And she with that she kind of looks at you and she just goes, You tell us what you need. I'm to assume you're gonna come up with a plan?
Yes. If we're gonna fight these alphas, we need a plan. We need to know the layout of. Do you know where these alphas? Do they have a base? Do they have a central cave?
We can
Well,
try
do
to
You know how to get to them.
Well, we can try to lure them out.
Okay. Well, is the plan to destroy all the alphas, or is there someplace that's creating more of them that we have to destroy? Because we.
The creation
Need-
is done in San Darmo.
Okay.
That's where Father resides.
So we have to kill the alphas that are in the cave now.
If you can.
Okay. Okay.
If you feel it's better to kill Father first, that's fine.
No.
If you feel that we can...
leaving this cave.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Okay.
understand.
Yeah, we need to kill the alphas first so that you guys are safe here.
Yeah,
and then-
and I'd rather leave knowing you're okay and all this is okay. And I'm pointing to the rock, basically.
It's a minimal. Never mind.
And she looks and she goes to Rev and to Skag. She goes, I do understand. And to Otis, she just goes, we appreciate your concern.
Very concerned.
And she goes, I will just give you time to decide what you want to do. And then Sarai and Blake will be able to help you if you need any kind of construction or anything like that. You just tell us what we can do to help.
Okay. You know what we haven't asked yet? Do you know how many alphas are in this cave?
It's a good question.
She goes, at last we believe that there are 3.
Oh. Okay. That's manageable. I was afraid there was like hundreds, you know.
She looks at you and she goes, you understand that they're bigger and stronger than the other ones, as well as you'll have to fight them as well.
Everything falls down.
You know,
Except for your
plan,
ego, Otis.
having a plan trumps numbers every time. We're going to have a plan.
Okay. Then I'll let you be to work out your plan. You just call upon us if you need anything, okay? We thank you so much. We truly do.
You can count on us, Mother.
She kind of bows, and she just kind of like walks away. And she leaves the stuff there, the 2 crates. They essentially belong to you. You do notice that they're probably extremely big and pretty heavy.
Yeah, we're not carrying these into
I'm
battle or
just gonna
anything.
leave it there. I don't think anybody's going to take it.
And
either.
Sarai and Blake kind of just pop up onto one of the rocks, and they kind of like, you know, their little feet kind of like swinging and dangling on the rocks because they don't reach the ground, and they just kind of like just stare at you, just waiting for whatever you guys want to do.
Okay.
I'm gonna turn towards Rev real quick and say, I don't know the layout of this cave, but maybe it might be a good idea if we can find somewhat of a bottleneck area, set up traps in there, and maybe somehow lead them into an ambush of sorts.
Yeah, ambush is what it's going to take to
We're gonna
take
we're gonna have to
superior
catch them
numbers.
off guard.
I'm thinking a lot of boom, a lot of explosives.
Yeah.
I'm on the same page with you guys.
Bottleneck. The only thing we have to worry about is these alphas are smarter, so they're not just going to follow blindly like the ghosts will.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to have to give them a reason to chase or something that they want. If they're after some of this jewels, some of this ceruleum and phalium, maybe we can even use that as bait. I don't know.
Or Rev, you know what I was thinking? A lot of people seem to be after Otis, so maybe we could use him as some form of bait. Isn't that right, Otis?
We could do that.
Otis as bait? You'd be up for that?
Why not? Just to get the job done.
You were just talking about using kids for bait like 2 seconds ago.
But that was to get the job done, see?
Man knows no
I'll do
morals.
whatever.
Either kids or suicide. This man just wants to get out of his cave already.
It's dark.
Okay. This is I don't know how we're going to lure 3 giant alphas into one place to blow them up all at one time. You guys have any ideas? I mean,
You have
what's
a good idea because Mother had stated that they want these minerals. So why don't we put some just in a nice little area, like you said, and we just
Also-
drop fury on them.
Who's to say we kill him right away? Maybe even get him into this area and just blow some rocks to block their passage, so they just starve to death.
But
I
what
don't
about
know.
the kids? Wouldn't they?
No, I don't think they'd be in the area with us.
Well, they know these caves better than we do, so I feel like even if we blow up some area, they can find some little nook or cranny, some little side passage they could get out. I think we have to, if we're going to kill him, we got to take him out like 100%.
Blake, how many room sweepers can you provide for us? And I look at the Blake's
You
over
look at
there.
Blake?
Isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, Blake looks at you and just goes, how many do you need?
As many as possible.
Well,
Big bada boom.
he looks at you and he just kind of goes, how many is as many as possible? And he puts up his hands. Like 5?
10?
10?
20?
And he kind of like,
All your toes.
oh, and then he kind of like looks at his toes. She just goes, ooh. Maybe.
Well, get as many as you could. We could use them for sure. I hope.
Also, we're gonna need. I'm saying this to Blake too. Also, we need parts for Rev, so that we can get those night vision goggles.
Yeah.
Now, that's something that Rev is gonna have to discuss because I don't know what he needs.
Okay. Yes, Rev needs stuff that Rev knows about because Ryan doesn't know how to actually make night vision goggles.
Yeah. What you can do is you can just
Components.
do like components, investigation components to see if you can just find them. It's going to be a simple roll,
Okay.
and then it'll be a roll for engineering to see if you can
Roll
even
The
create
closest
that.
I've ever gotten to night vision is when I play Splinter Cell. If that's it, you know.
Okay,
You do
so I
notice
should-
that you can probably take a look into the two heavy bore miners
Yeah, the broken down
themselves,
bow
right,
miners,
and see
bow
if there's
miners.
any kind of components that you can kind of pull from them.
Okay. So should I roll engineering to see if I can find things?
You're going to roll investigation first.
Oh, investigation first. Okay. I don't have that. You would.
Skag can help you roll it because he has investigation as well, right? Do you not?
Nope. No.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You have engineering. That's right. Okay.
I have engineering.
Yeah, you could help him build the stuff. Yeah, you would have to do the
So-
investigation.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just have to investigate by myself to see if I can find parts.
They can if they want to roll as well, just to see if you
Okay.
all can do it.
Yeah.
Okay. So everybody help me find some parts. So I can
Okay,
make
and I
some goggles.
scurry around and look.
I got an
13.
11.
Okay. What did you get, Otis?
I got a
13.
And
I got a 9.
Rev?
I got
Okay.
a 9.
Interesting enough, for a guy who is looking for kind of component parts in order to put together and you just kind of like makeshift IR goggles, Otis is the one who's kind of like going, maybe you can use this, maybe you can use this, maybe you can use this. And
Under
you're
my breath, I'm gonna mutter "dumb luck."
and Rev's just kind of like, how did I miss that?
Rev's like, are you an engineer? Do you make this stuff?
Crafty.
All right.
Roll investigation one more time to see if you can get enough to
11.
make
All of us?
2. Yeah, you need to make 2 more IRs.
I got 11.
Oh, I got a 6.
I got 11.
Okay. Skag is kind of just like going through everything and just going, I don't even know what this is. I don't know what that is. He just goes. There's part of him who just goes, "Do you think now?" And he kind of like he like tosses it.
My mom had one of these in her drawer.
Oh,
And in time, it takes you in like another 45 minutes to an hour. You both are able to scrounge up enough things that you believe that you could probably fashion something with together
Okay.
in order to do it. Whether or not they're good enough for it to work
Right. We'll have to
is
see.
based on your roles. Is you'll find out.
Okay. Okay. Before we start trying to put together some night vision goggles, I want to see if I think that if we're gonna have bait for these alphas, I feel like what we need is like the fastest kid, because these kids can be faster than us with all their cybernetic legs and stuff, right? They're
Well,
like
not all of
close
them. Remember, not all of them have cybernetic legs.
enough. Okay.
Some of them do, but just in general, you get the sense that a lot of these kids probably know the cave systems pretty well, that they're not being held up by trying to figure out the bearings, that they can continue to
think,
keep
yeah.
moving, besides the fact that they're not being weighed down by any equipment that you guys are carrying, any of those things. And they're
I
just
think
in
what
the
we
end,
should
they're
do-
younger than you.
Yeah. What I think we should do is have the 3 fastest kids each find an alpha and like lure them to a central location, and that's what we use as kind of our bait. Whether they have to carry one of these cerulean or thallium things to make it so that they're juicy enough
Like
for
a
them
chunk.
to chase.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
like a chunk, like
Give
they were
'em a chunk.
mining it, and that's the reason they were out there, to kind of lure the alphas into one central location.
Okay, how are you determining this? Were you having some kind of like little race between everybody?
I
To
think
search
we
who's,
should.
who's the fastest?
Well, I think we should ask
Blake or
Sarai
Sarai.
and Blake. They probably know who's the fastest of all the kids in there. I think we just ask them who's the 3 fastest kids in this cave.
Okay. So you just kind of go up and you just ask Blake and Sarai.
Yes.
Okay. And then Blake and Sarai just go, us.
That's 2.
Yeah, we need one more. Who's the 3rd fastest kid here?
And then they kind of like look at each other and they're just like, she goes, I think Jonah is fast too.
Jonah.
We can ask Jonah.
Okay. If Jonah volunteers, you 3 are leading those alphas to their doom. Are you guys up for this?
Sarai kind of like jumps down from the rock, and so does Blake. She goes, aye, aye. We'll do our best, even if we do get killed.
Cutest little troopers ever, man.
And then she kind of like nods to Blake, and Blake runs off. She goes, he'll go get Jonah.
Okay. All right, so you guys want to build these, see if we can build these night vision goggles now?
You tell me what to do and I'll try.
Okay, so if we're all working on these together, do we all get to roll engineering? Is that how this is going to work?
No, only you and Skag
Yeah.
are actually able to build these things.
Okay.
And I still roll twice in this situation.
You still roll.
right?
You guys roll an advantage. That is correct. Otis can decide to roll. He just does not roll an advantage. Maybe you get lucky.
I just put
Otis,
things-
I go scalpel.
Yeah.
I got an 18.
Oh yeah. Without any problem, you just for the
And I got 17.
for the 30 minutes that you were just like, I don't think I need this. I don't think I need this. Once Rev hands you the stuff, you're just like, oh yeah, I can put this together, no problem. And in about an hour, you kind of fashion something, and the same for Rev. That he fashioned something enough that you believe could most definitely work. Now, for how long is one thing, but it should get the job done for at least one.
For at least one, that was between the 2 of us. We got 1 put together.
No, for at least one. You're talking just duration of time. How much power is this thing going to be able to carry? You're just using stuff that you can find.
Okay. Okay, so we have our night vision goggles.
Mhm.
How now discussing among ourselves, once we lure these 3 alphas into one place, I assume we're going to have more of these little ghosts that are going to come with them. What's a big enough boom to take all these things out?
I mean, I asked them for everything they got, so we just gotta hope that's gonna do the trick.
Unless maybe we can tape 3 together.
I count on putting all of them together, and
Mm-hmm.
just one shot should set one off, and we got a big boom.
Chain reaction, huh? Okay.
That's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm thinking.
So I think what we need, if these are sonic grenades, right?
That is
Yeah.
correct.
They're
Thinking-
concussive. They're concussive, I believe.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm thinking if we can get the most amount of these things in the smallest space and set them all off at once, we got. You talk about a cave in to block them in. I'm thinking a cave in just to bury them.
Yeah. Kill them.
Yeah, we set all these off in one small room. We get all that sonic force. I think we get enough to cause a cave in to kill all of them. That's what I'm thinking is our plan.
Real life situation, real quick. I gotta go help my sister out.
Yep.
I
Just
don't
go.
know-
Just go.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I'll be right back.
Okay. So,
So-
what is your plan that you're trying to concoct here?
So I'm thinking we have our 3 kids, each
Running around.
sneak
Right.
off, find an alpha. I don't know if we can like make it so that they get them there all at the same time. That's might be a challenge.
We should tell the kids to drop the rock when they get to the explosive, so it kind of
okay.
keeps them there. You know.
So
That's-
that the alphas
that's what I-
see the rock,
Yeah.
Right.
go
Yeah.
and grab it. Okay. Okay. That's a plan. We need to tell the kids to find a small cave that we can block off every entrance but the one that they're coming in. Because if we're going to contain this blast, we don't need side passages for, the concussive force to dilute. We need it all concentrated in one place so it causes enough of a boom.
Yeah.
Kids can get out, ceiling comes down. That's what I'm thinking. That's our plan.
That's exactly how I see it too.
Okay.
Okay.
That's our plan.
Okay. Well,
I didn't-
Go
I
ahead.
didn't think to do that in character. I thought that was more of like
No, that's just you guys
us
working it
getting
out.
ready.
Sure, that's
yeah,
fine.
Okay.
Okay. So should we say maybe go to Mother and tell her our plan? Is that what we want to do?
It is up to you. You tell me what you guys want to do.
She didn't seem like. I feel like she just wants the job done.
Okay, so we don't need to discuss it with her.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we get all the kids together then, who are volunteers.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Plan.
So yeah, with that, after some time, you guys have been discussing probably for an hour, couple hours or so, making sure that your plan is a formidable one. By that time, we see Sarai, Blake, and a young boy with kind of like dirty blonde hair. He very much like Blake has had his whole bottom half replaced by cybernetic parts, as well as his left arm. His face though seems relatively unscarred, and he kind of has like a big kind of like smile. He's got a little bit of dirt that's on his face, and he kind of like walks up to you. He's kind of wearing like this green kind of like jumper, and he just goes, "Hey, sirs,
What's your name?
name's Jonah."
Haha. Yes, the other fast one.
He goes,
Rev gets down on one knee and says to Jonah, "Jonah, are you fast?"
He goes, "I am the fastest, even faster than Sarai, and she's fast."
All right, well,
That's good news.
we got a job for you, Jonah.
He goes, "Are you guys fast?"
No,
And Rev
not.
says,
I'm not as fast as you guys.
Not as fast as you, Jonah.
And he just goes, "Okay, are you sure? You guys want to race? I'll show you how fast I am. I'm pretty fast. You tell him, Sarai.
I
Yeah,
want
he's
you
pretty
to
fast.
run as fast as you could. Grab me some nets, and bring them back to me, and I'll time you.
He just goes, "Okay," and he just goes, and in a blur, the little kid just goes, "Pew!" He kind of like runs off, and he comes in, and in 10 seconds, he kind of comes back, and he has what looks like nuts. He goes, "Nuts, nuts, right?
Nets.
That's
Nets.
I don't know what that is."
Ropes, and I captured things.
She goes, and he looks at you and he just goes, and Sarai looks at you and goes, "Why would you capture things? Like children?"
No, no, not children. I'm here for you. God,
They
that
look
sounds
they look to Rev. They just go, "Is there something wrong with him?"
And Rev says, he looks him straight in the eye and he goes, "Yes."
And in unison, they all just go,
I'm
But
trying.
seriously, Rev says, do you guys have some sort of restraint or net that we can tie up or drop on these alphas to slow them down?
they
I'm
all look
trying
at they
to-
all look at you and they just go,
No.
"No."
I think
So does
I think
that
this
mean-
is something that you, Otis, maybe could put together, right? As a survivalist, maybe you can find some wires or something to make a net.
Okay, so.
I don't know.
Didn't think
Well-
of that. That's awesome. That was a great
We made
idea.
goggles, so maybe we can make a net. I don't know.
No, you're.
That was-
no,
that
I'm
was great.
thanking
That was
you for real,
great.
man. Like I totally didn't think of I can develop my own net. Like,
Oh, really? It
Yeah.
sounded like it was lathered in sarcasm.
no,
Just
I
like,
didn't-
"Oh,
I didn't
thanks,
think
dude."
More like You want me to make something? God, what am I? A
No, that's
baker?
totally
I don't know.
a great idea. Um, with him saying that, I want to try to, I want to reload my restrainer, to make sure I have enough nets.
Okay.
So I want to.
You should have an extra one that is in your pack itself that you can kind of load into there. Because the other guy that you left him there and you killed him back on the ridge.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And Rev actually has some rope, some climbing rope, so he can tell. Rev says to Otis, "I have some rope. If that'll help you out, I got a rope and a grappling hook. That's what I got."
I
Okay.
want to try to make some nets. I want to. If we could restrain them, why not? Right? That might help us.
Yeah, if we drop it down on them when they go for the gem, that gives us time. If they don't all get there at the same time, to
Okay. So yeah, that's what you're hearing, Skag, is they're just trying to find ways to
I was just about to say, I fully
restrain
understood
them.
the plan that I was here for.
Yeah. Yeah. They're just trying to find a way to restrain them if they can.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you guys want to do? You guys
Well, I
gotta
want to
tell
wait
me.
for Blake to come and bring me these explosives, these room sweepers.
Oh, and then kind of like Blake just goes, "Oh, you wanted me to get that now? You wanted me
Yes.
to run?
Yes.
Rev asked me to run."
Can you go run?
Run and get them.
Blake just goes and just kind of runs away.
I salute back to nothing.
Like he kind of and from a distance, there's other like kids kind of like gathering around. He looks at he comes back. He goes, "Was I supposed to like run back?
Bring him back to me.
Bring what?"
At this point, I'm going to look at Rev and say, "Are you sure we want this kid running a bait? Seems more dangerous on his part."
And with that, he scurries back and he just goes, "Do you want me first to get the grenades, then run?"
Bring him to us.
He just kind of like goes and looks at Rev for an answer.
Rev says, "Okay, run as fast as you can, pick up the grenades that you made or found, and run back as fast as you can. It's a test to see how fast you are."
And he just goes and scurries off.
And as he's gone, Rev says, "We got to be very clear in our instructions to this kid, or else we're losing one."
But Blake was listening so good before.
And I'm going to look at Otis and Rev and just say, "Are there enough parts here that maybe we can make him a helmet? I think he might need one. I don't want him running into any walls when we're out there."
And Rev goes, "That's actually a great idea. We should put at least some
You
armor
need
on
one."
these kids. We should put something on these kids since they're going to be bait for alphas."
We should,
Okay.
but it's
Are
got to
you
be.
gonna try to like fashion them something?
It's got to be something not too heavy that would weigh them down or impede them in any way. You know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like a hat.
Well, I don't know, a helmet.
Yep. That was it, Otis. We need to make these children hats that will protect them. If you want, you can stitch on there.
Don't
"Stay
talk
away."
down to me. Okay?
Stay
Hey, I'm
away.
the boss now, Otis.
Just on the top, it's just leave me alone. Go
My
away.
area.
No says no.
The Alpha sees it. He's like, "I read your hat and I respect that decision. Good day."
In about a minute or two, you hear clunk, 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 as Blake kind of comes back and he's got like a bag and he just kind of like and kind of like tosses it at the foot of
At that point, when he does that, though, I skiddishly back up because I don't want these things to blow up.
yeah
I'm
at the
How many
foot of
did he
at the
bring?
foot of Otis. It's in a bag.
I open the bag and I check inside and I go for a count, see how many are in there.
There's only 19, you little shit.
You find 8.
8. Blake, was this all you could muster?
And he just goes, and he looks at his toes and he just goes, 20.
It's 8, kid. How about
And he goes, 28.
So this is it. Okay. All right, guys. Maybe we have enough.
And I ask uh, Otis, is there any way you can scrounge anything else? Do you have anything left, or are you out of grenades? Because I feel like we need to put all the eggs in this one basket.
I only have one of those I have a cryo. That's all I have left.
I'm gonna throw my hat.
But
in the ring.
that's our let's get the out of here card.
If we have enough excess parts, I could put together some rinky-dinky grenades. I have a weapons expertise, of course.
Okay.
Even though I run into doors, don't forget that, guys.
Well,
Okay.
Skag, can you make some for us?
Can I? ODM?
I think
Oh.
Skag should try to make grenades, and I think Otis should try to make a net. I think that's
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Down.
you can definitely try to roll investigations to see if you can find parts.
Okay.
Okay. Investigation.
And we all investigate one more time. Too.
Yeah, are you gonna help him out there, Rev, as well?
Yeah, I would like
sure.
to help him.
Not a problem. Go ahead.
I got a 2.
12.
Skag finds absolutely nothing.
I got an 8.
Rev finds absolutely nothing.
12.
You find enough, kind of like that was in the inside of the bore miners and stuff, kind of like some mesh wiring that you feel like, if you applied some kind of heat to it, and then maybe you can kind of like make it a bit more pliable, something that you can work with.
All right.
So no grenades, but we got a net at least.
Oh, I was about to say, do we roll separately again for grenades?
No,
Well,
you got to
was it-
roll the
but that was just
investigation to see if you
components,
got
No,
anything.
that's what I was saying. Did we only investigate for both things at once, or were we only investigating
was-
for that moment? for
Otis
mesh
was,
stuff?
according to Rev, you two were going for grenades. Otis was trying to find something
Okay.
to make a net.
Cool.
Okay, so we got a net, but no extra grenades. Okay.
I've constructed the net, or do I have to roll?
No,
to-
you're gonna have to roll to construct it.
Okay. I'm gonna
you
grab
can
what I
do
found.
it with the help of Rev
One of
or
these guys?
Skag. Yeah, I'll give you advantage because they'd probably be there to help you out with an engineering of all.
Can we both roll to help him out?
Well,
gotta
it's
be
only
one.
going to be an advantage, so only one of you guys needs to help him out.
All right. Well, Skag, give me a hand. You know stuff about weapons.
All right. And do I roll twice because I have engineering, or just once?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got a 12.
Oh my god. I got a 9. I got
Okay.
a 1 at first. That was bad.
You, with the help of Skag, you don't feel like you're really kind of making any headway. Maybe it's just that Skag's usually better with any kind that's more ballistic based. You feel that you've concocted a semi-working restrainer, though you don't know for sure if it's actually going to be that effective. You feel like you got something. You just know that it's by far your best work.
I'm not feeling good about this job.
Yeah, Skeg, you wouldn't even know. Even with like him putting it together, you're just kind of like, yeah, it looks like it would work for me.
It doesn't it?
I think this will work.
Okay. Well, if we lay out the battlefield, we could probably make this work.
Maybe we capture one and we shoot him a couple times to get him crying or going nuts to attract the others. Kind of keep him there.
Well, wait. Maybe we should see at some point all of these kids learn these tunnel systems. I don't know. Maybe they all learned it by running around themselves, or maybe they made some sort of map. Maybe we can ask and see if they have some form of layout they can give us. We can start our strategies.
Okay. So we want to ask Sarai and Blake if they have a map of the caves.
I think
Okay.
Sarai would be
Or
best.
if they could even map it out for us, maybe like on
I
the
like
dirt
how he
ground or
said
something.
he said Sarai would be best.
Yeah.
He's so done with working with Blake.
All right. Well, since Rev's got the best reputation with these kids, I guess he goes to Sarai and he says, "Sarai, do you have a map of the caves around the alphas, or can you guys find a small cave that we can lure these alphas to?"
With that, With that, she tells you that because we don't have anything like written down. We have it here. We just know.
Wait, are they close by to all of us?
Sarai,
did
Blake, and Jonah have kind of like never left your side.
Oh, okay, so I'm hearing this too. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna look at Rev then and say, ask if there's a possible way for them to draw it out, maybe with sticks in the sand.
Okay, Sarai, could you draw the map? Could you draw the caves around where the alphas are?
With that, she leans into you and she just goes, "We can hear the big guy."
I thought that was funny too. I thought that was funny too.
I just did it because he's got the best rep with these
Is it?
kids.
She just goes, "Is it weird that he doesn't talk to us? Did we do something?"
I'm gonna look at Rev and say, tell her I could hear that.
and Rev goes, "All right, you two, you could talk to each other. I'm not your mother."
All right, well then I'll turn to Sarai and I'll say, what he said. Is there any possible way you could draw it out for us?
And she looks at you and she just goes, and then she turns away and she looks at Blake and then Jonah, and then they kind of like get together and have a little powwow, and they're just like,
Don't ask Blake.
and they're just like, one points to him and the other points to the other one. They're just like, and then Blake is the one who just goes, and then Sarai just goes, "Blake can get it done."
I'm just gonna shoot a look at Rev. Just a look that on my face says, are you sure about this one?
It was your idea about the drawing. I don't know if we should take their word for it or not.
It doesn't have to try.
Maybe we should scout it out ourselves. I don't know.
Why don't we have them draw it out and then try to scout it out as well? And if maybe they might correlate. If not, then we'll know immediately his drawings were wrong. But if they are right, then I'll give Blake more credit than he deserves. What do you think?
All right. We'll have him draw, we'll look at it, and then we scout it. That's what I think.
What do you think, Otis?
I agree.
All
It's
right.
a plan. Let's do it.
All right, Blake. I'm gonna need you to draw this out for us, please.
Okay, and what essentially he does is he kind of draws in the stand. If there's one of you guys wants to sketch this out for yourselves, you guys can do it. And he makes reference to the opening of the fortress of the Haven itself, going up. He shows that there's one left, which was the initial left that you came down from the outside. So that would lead you back up into that large cavern where all the skitterers, the hollow ones, were, as well as the entrance. Initially, you came down. You can continue to keep going forward, and then there's a right, which leads you to a fork. So a four-way crossing. I'm sorry, not a fork, a four-way crossing. So you can continue to keep going right. You can go up, or you can go down.
And is that all he gives us?
How much more do you want? Do you want everything?
Oh, at this point, he just kind of left it open-ended with
Okay.
just a fork.
He continues to keep the drawing going. As you go up, it comes to another four-way crossing. You can go left or right, or continue forward. If you continue forward, it makes a left and takes you all the way back to the initial cavern where those skitterers were. So it leads you back. If you continue to that second fork, four-way crossing, if you go if you go right, then it opens up into a very large cavern that is almost kind of like a D shape that kind of circulates all the way around, where there's another large freshwater system that's in the middle. So it's almost the equivalent of the Haven, just in a different direction. And that leads into a very, very big opening, which leads out farther on. With that, he merely just goes, "We don't venture beyond that."
And Rev asks, as we're looking at the drawing, he looks, he asks, are any of these dead ends or only have one or two entrances? Because we need a place that doesn't have a whole bunch of entrances unless we can block them off.
And then big boom.
She
Exactly.
says there is one that is a dead end.
That's where we
And
want
he goes,
these.
I can
pull
take you
the bag.
there.
I think we should agree that's our boom spot.
That's the best spot.
Yep.
Okay.
Lead the way.
With that, he kind of like just goes, okay. And Sarai pulls Rev. And as you see that obviously the big door that initially you came into, it's the one way in, one way out. The large kind of like vault door. Off to the side, there seems to be a small little hovel that maybe you just in that time didn't notice or anything like that. But as she pulls you in, you see that there is a closed circuit camera systems that is active, and she just goes, "You can always use this too. This is how we find them."
And
you do notice that
Rev-
there's like 10 closed circuit TV cameras that have been placed within the caverns themselves.
Boy, we are dumb. There was a camera outside the door when we came in. Why didn't we think of that?
So Rev is looking at these screens, I guess, TV screens
Right.
that are showing, and he asks, "Are any of these showing the dead end room we're talking about?"
One of them does. The bottom right corner does.
Okay.
One of them also shows that cavern that you were in before, where you had the initial
Scuffle.
scuffle, right? That you even see is still kind of flooded full of these things.
Okay. Rev shouts over to Otis and Skag and says, "Hey, come look at this. We got a bird's eye view on our battleground cave."
I'm gonna saunter over there.
Check it out.
Blake,
So-
as you guys are walking away, Blake goes, "Do you like my map?"
I'm gonna turn to him and say, "It's okay, kid. You did the job," and then just keep walking away.
And he goes,
It's like an Indiana Jones.
"It's the first time we looked at you." He goes, "Thanks, boss."
At that point, I'm gonna turn towards Otis and say, "See, I'm the boss.
He knows nothing. He's a kid.
You know nothing, and you're an adult."
Not true.
Rev goes, "Are you guys coming or what?"
Oh yeah, I'm sauntering, man. I'm on my way.
I come to check it out.
He's sauntering. He's just kind of like,
I'm sauntering. Big old skag just sauntering on over.
okay.
Okay, so as they come in, I point to the bottom right screen and I say, we got a view on the cave. What do you guys think?"
The TV's black. I can't see. There's no light there. Or is there a light source in the room?
They are closed circuit IR.
Okay. I was unaware of that. My bad. At this point,
They all
I'm
have
gonna-
nice green hues to them.
Like real security cameras.
I don't have security cameras in my house, so I don't know these things. My bad.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, they're not IR. They're night vision. I apologize. Yeah, they're because with the green hue is night vision.
Okay.
I'm gonna look towards both Rev and Otis and say, "All right, let's start making our plan."
Sort of made it.
Well, no, I mean like where everything wants to be set up. Obviously, since we
Ah.
can see the location now.
Well, yeah, I'm thinking we rig up like a net on the top of the ceiling that they wouldn't see that could drop on
Yeah, that's what I was envisioning.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking myself.
where the center of the. Do we want to have the bombs where the crystal are? That's supposed to be the bait, or do we want to have the bombs like around the outside of the room? What is? You
I
guys,
think
are the
you're right.
munitions expert. What's the
Well-
best way to bring down this cave?
I say we just do one central blast right in the center of this cave, and we drop the ceiling on him, like you said.
Okay.
Or we have 8. I like a big boom. That way it all falls. Because I feel like 8 separate booms isn't going to make it fall the way I envision it falling.
Okay.
Okay.
So are we putting this big boom on the ceiling? We putting it on the floor? What's going to bring the ceiling down on them? Putting it on the ceiling?
I think we should put it on the ceiling. That's probably the best bet.
Okay.
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 So you guys are just kind of like looking over and just
Yeah.
based on
kind of-
of the surveillance that you kind of see, trying to figure out ways to obviously set this up, right?
Yeah.
Okay. While you're doing that, Skag, you feel a tug on your sleeve.
I'm gonna turn around.
Okay. It's Blake.
I'm gonna slap him. No, I'm just I'm gonna lean into him and say, "What's up?"
He has a look of fear in his eyes. And with that, he points up.
I look at what he's pointing at.
And in the top left-hand screen, the camera outside of the door, you see an alpha. And he grabs you and he just goes, "They're here."
Immediately, I'm gonna look at Revenue to say, "Hey guys, change of plans. They're here outside. Look," and I'm gonna point in the same direction as that little boy.
So
Derek?
which
Would
The
you,
top left camera?
the top left camera. The top left camera is the camera that is outside the door that you initially looked up to that let you in. What you see is essentially a empty corridor with a extremely large hulking mass that is almost kind of like on fours. It looks much larger than any of the other ones that you had seen in this. This looks almost like it's 10 to 12 feet. It almost fills the cavern itself, almost in width, as it's kind of like scraping the sides of the cavern walls that are just right outside the door. And as it kind of like sweeps, you can just see that it's just ripping rock face and earth off of the walls themselves, just slapping them across. And it kind of like it's if you get a sense that it's waiting for something, that it kind of moves and just kind of lumbers, and then it turns and it looks directly up at the camera.
I let out a scream. Hey!
And it just starts to pound heavily on the ground. Doom. Boom. Boom. Enough that it's actually reverberating off the vault door itself.
I think
It's
we have to
shaking
do
like
something.
even the fibers and the metal bars that rotate the tumbler itself.
Well, I guess our plan's out the window.
I'm gonna look at Blake and ask, "Is there any other way out besides, there? Is there a way to sneak around?"
Sarai answers to you and looks at you and she goes, "One way in, one way out."
I'm gonna look pretty much sad at Rev, almost in a "please give us a saving grace" plan here.
I've ready my carbine like at my hip to kind of get ready in case I have to use it.
The kids start to panic and start to scream as they can feel the power of these thunderous concussive waves slamming up against the door. See even some of them like throw themselves up against the door in order to help like brace it. Some of the braver ones, Sarai and Blake, kind of just stand there, and as you're just kind of like caught up in what to do now, you feel a hand on your shoulder, Otis, as well as Rev and its mother, and she just goes, "Now you see what we're up against. They never stop, and that's just one. He's calling for more."
Oh man. I I I'm out of plans, man.
Yeah, I don't even know how. I don't even have an idea of how to get out of this. I don't have like anything to kind of.
Wait, I got it. Otis, you have 8 of those grenades.
Yeah,
Strap
but
one
that's
on a
to
kid,
take them out.
have it go out as bait. We'll see if the monster bites, and then set it off.
Jonah.
We're not using the kid as bait, guys.
That's right. That's
All
right.
right,
we
Rev,
can't
it
do
was
that
just an
part.
idea. I'm trying here.
What if we dress up a grenade in a kid outfit and get him to eat a grenade as a kid? Maybe it'll blow his head off. I don't know.
How about we put one of these grenades right? He's banging against the door. You said.
No, he's
On the
he's
ground?
just slamming the ground, and the reverberation from the ground and the earth are just like a concussive wave slamming up against the vault door, just causing it to shake violently. It's not like it's compromising it or anything like that. It's just it's shaking it pretty violently.
How about I open the door and throw one of these at him, and blow it up?
Do you think one is going to be enough to do anything to him?
I know as much as you.
What if you threw your cryo? What if we were able to freeze him, bring him in, close the door, hack him to pieces before any of his friends show up? Do you think the
Has-
cryo would
Well,
give
wait,
bias
if-
time?
Has
But
he been
if-
screeching or anything? Like, kind of communicating for more?
Yeah, that's.
Have
what
we
he said
heard
he was
that?
doing.
Oh, he did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
his mother even said he's calling more.
He's
I
calling.
was
Yeah.
gonna say in
He's-
that case, Fred,
yeah.
what we should do is we should hold off on the cryo until we get all 3 of them in a room in hopes of freezing all 3 at once. Is the cryo range that big, Otis?
It could, if they're close, we could get them all.
Oh man, that is putting all of our eggs in one grenade basket right there.
Yeah, that's just one of those.
Food for thought, guys.
But we have 8 of the shockwave.
Yeah.
Mother has now run over towards the door and is now bracing it as well, with the children. With most of them just kind of looking at you for some semblance of leadership.
Skag, go hold the door.
Wait, guys,
Skag.
I may have an idea real quick. We'll go with your idea. Open the door, throw a sonic grenade, close the door.
I run over
Once
to
it
the door to help him.
explodes, I was
Okay.
saying once it explodes, we can. Did you leave the plan?
I'm
Essentially,
listening.
you were talking to him, and then Otis just books it towards the door, just leaves you high and dry in the middle of the conversation. Rev's there
I'm
though.
Listening.
I'm gonna finish it with Rev. Why don't we get that door open, throw a grenade out, close the door. Once we hear it go off, hopefully it's caught off guard. Open it, and we all rush. Maybe
Okay.
catch it off guard.
Try to stun it with a sonic grenade. That might be our best bet. Because we either wait for them all to get out there and throw everything we have at the entire group of them, or we try to knock this one out before the rest of them get here. That's
I grab a
that's all I
sonic grenade and I go, Skag, you see this button? When I open the door, you touch it and you throw it.
Otis, I thought you said you were gonna throw it.
I got you.
You're the.
I'm gonna open the door.
demolition
Ready? Here.
specialist. Did you toss me the grenade?
Yeah, I toss you the
All right.
grenade. Now hit the button.
I hit the button and I'm gonna.
And
throw
I
it out
open the door.
Okay, well,
I open the door.
the door takes some time. It's a heavy vault door.
Well,
Then
It
I
was
don't
obviously
get my
it was
thing.
obviously made. It has to be well enough to withstand attacks. So
And Rev says, all you kids and mother, as soon as that door starts opening, you book it. Get out of the way.
I'm opening the door.
all of them take a look at you as well as mother.
Okay.
Sorry about that. And
That's fine.
and go to you and just go. Like, you want us to read?
Okay.
Go over there now.
You run away from the door.
And the mother just
Is-
goes, "We can do that. We can do
Idioms with these people. Idioms, my God.
that." But she looks to you, Rev, and she just goes, "What happens if he gets in?"
Then you hide. We
Right.
fight this thing.
She kind of takes a large breath and just kind of exhales it out. and just looks at you. And just goes. She kind of closes her eye and she looks at you and opens them up big, and she just goes, "We will trust you, Rev. We will trust you and Skag. But I don't trust the other one."
With good reason.
It's like, all right, you trust who you need to trust, as long as you clear the area.
Come on.
She goes, okay.
you gotta
And
take care of this.
and during that time, what she does, she kind of goes off and she starts talking to the kids, of telling them what's going to happen, and the moment that this happens, that we need to disperse. And she's kind of giving directions of places where they could hide and kind of like tuck themselves away in. And she kind of gives you a look, and there's kind of a smile on her face towards you, Rev, and she just goes, and she kind of gives you a look like, "We trust you."
All right, Mother, no pressure. Okay. As they're planning to open the door, throw the grenade, I want to go into Mirage so that I can do a kind of charge stealth strike at this thing if we actually are able to stun it. That's what I would like to do.
Okay. Skag, you're actually going to be the one who's tossing the grenade, right?
I'm usually the tosser in most situations, yes.
Okay. And I'm guessing Rev and Otis, you're gonna.
I don't know why I said that. That one was pretty bad. Sorry.
Are you guys both helping with swinging the door open?
Well,
Because remember,
if
they're like relatively small kids. They can handle the door. They can get it done. There's a little bit of a hydraulic that's on it, but it's still, you're still trying to pull a heavy door open enough that somebody can go in there and
Yeah, I
do
was gonna say,
something.
we only need it open enough real quick that I can at least throw my hand out. Or the grenade out.
Okay.
I'm not throwing my hands at these people.
All right, sure. We can do that, but you're gonna roll a disadvantage because you are not out there to see this thing. What you're telling
not
me is,
targeting it,
yeah,
yeah.
you're actually just trying to stick your hand out and give it a toss and hope it gets there.
And I don't have anything that could help with this?
Unfortunately, no.
Wait, what is steeled, by the way?
Stilled means that you are not affected by any kind of stressful situations, or that when you start going into really, really low health points, you're never going to be a disadvantage to any of your skills.
Cool.
So if you're down to like 1, you're still doing exactly the same thing that you were doing before, other than maybe Otis at that point, who's like on the verge of death, would be starting to roll a disadvantage because he knows he might go down.
And then I roll a 20, right, for this?
You roll a d20. Is okay. That is your plan. Is that you're gonna open it up?
Yep.
Rev is a Mirage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I'm
so
opening.
you've already put yourself in Mirage then.
Yeah, I used an exhaust and I put
Okay.
myself in Mirage.
You guys are, with the help of Otis, you're kind of swinging the door with the kids. They kind of like rotate this large tumbler. It kind of snaps. Some of the tumblers like kind of retract back. You almost kind of get that vacuum sealed kind of feel as it kind of almost kind of even sucks you through a little bit as you start to open it up just enough. As that, go ahead and roll a d20 really quick.
18.
Okay.
Nice.
Fuck, yeah.
Oh, that was just him.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yep. I only rolled a 10. So you will be able to make the move before he does.
So I have to
So-
roll again?
Yep. You just roll a d20 for like a regular attack. And let's actually no. I'm sorry. We'll do it with athletics. So a 12.
Yeah.
Okay. As it opens up about,
About
Like-
a foot.
about a foot or two,
Yeah.
enough that you can actually, because he's a big guy, for him to kind of like get in there and toss. You 100% tell me exactly what you're doing.
You're
Skag.
talking to me?
I'm talking to Skag, yes.
Oh, well, I'm positioned where the second I see the door open and I see the creature, I'm lobbing the grenade straight for it.
Okay. So they open up the door. You just stick your hand in and you just toss the grenade.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously the door's open.
Yeah,
enough,
it's
and
enough
he's
for you
got-
to do
Yeah,
it.
and I was saying if he's by the camera, where the camera should be
Well, yeah,
positioned,
no,
I should be able
he's
to
far
see
enough
him.
away. He's about like 10 feet away from it. He's not right up against the door.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, from the angle, I should be able to still see him, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so then I just throw it, and I want them to close the door.
Okay, so you throw it, and then are you guys closing the door?
Yes, closing the door.
Okay. Rev, roll a d20 for me here. I'm going to let you be the deciding factor.
Okay.
My 18 and 12s weren't good enough.
I rolled a 19.
19. Okay, with that 19, you remember to push the button. Because you did not tell me that you pushed the button at any point.
Oh, son of a bitch.
With,
I thought the
with,
roll was for that.
No. You just told me I asked you did exactly what you wanted to do. What you
I
wanted
feel
to
like
do.
you don't like
You
Scab.
said that
I
you
read
opened it
the
up.
fucking
You said you
I
opened
should've
it up
pushed that button.
and you tossed it. That's all you said.
Skag
But
is
because
not
Rev-
good with grenades.
because
okay?
Rev-
He-
But before you did that, Rev reminds you and he yells out, "Push the button!" and you click it right before you toss it. Okay, as you kind of slam the door behind it.
Demolition man, all right, guys.
I just threw this in your lap. Like, I get it done,
Yeah,
Skag.
that's the only reason I'm saying is some of those things. Like I was just most of the time I would let that roll, but this was a big thing for
Yeah.
you. And he tossed you the grenade. You said you're going to throw it, and you didn't say at any point that you were going to activate this grenade. So it would have been funny if you just tossed it, you closed it, and you're just like,
I think at that point I would have been like, I'm quitting this game. I'm never gonna win. Fuck it, I'm out.
But as you
Flip the
as you
table.
kind of close the door, none of you guys are watching the feed or anything like that to know exactly what is going on. In about a second or two, you hear a large doom explosion, and the concussive wave almost slams you, all of you who are against the door, almost slams you to the ground. Like the way that it had transferred through that door into you, it almost knocks you unconscious. It's so powerful.
Okay. With that much concussive force,
Yeah.
I think Rev wants to yell, "Open the door," so I can charge this thing while it's down. I feel like that's the only way we
Is that what you're gonna
take
do?
this thing out. Do we want to check the cameras first, or should we just run out? Do we have time for
just
that?
Run out. Just run out. I want to say that Otis and I are gonna start opening the door.
Yeah.
Otis?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to open the door.
All right. Go ahead and both roll strength because you want to see how quickly you can get this door open.
It's a steel door. I'm gonna roll for steel. That advantage.
Excellent.
I can't open a fucking door. I rolled a 3, so.
Well, I rolled a 5.
Yeah, they are trying to pull themselves together like the blast. You got them pretty good, and as you're in the Mirage, you're seeing these guys just kind of lumbering to kind of
Struggling,
like
yeah.
and struggling to kind of like get footing. Some of the kids they can't even help. They're almost like knocked senseless, you know.
Okay.
Just trying to pull himself up. As that happens, Mother runs over, and she starts to pull and tries to help the door open it as much as she can. And she
Okay.
kind of she calls out to like Skag and Otis. She has no idea where you went at this point because obviously
Oh,
you're
yeah.
Mirage.
I'm
and she
Mirage,
just
yeah.
goes, "I hope this works."
It's gonna work. It's gonna work.
Okay,
And can we keep trying again?
Yeah.
Try again.
go
Yeah.
ahead and roll it with advantage. She's going to help you with it to see if you can swing this open enough that Rev can get through.
This whole time that this is all happening, Rev is like chanting to get himself in the
Pep.
zone because
Oh,
he's about to jump
gotcha.
out on this. He's doing this
Gotcha.
mystical chanting to try to
11.
get in the zone.
I rolled a 19.
Okay.
Yes.
I can open doors now.
Skag with like just kind of like unbridled strength that for the first time you see coming from this extremely large frame of Skag. He just grunts and gets down and starts to bear down and just starts to pull this door open almost by himself with the help. It helps. Obviously, it makes it a lot easier that Otis and Mother are there, but you feel, Skag, that you're really kind of carrying the brunt of
I
the
think, in
weight.
fact, I think I catch Otis miring me, almost as if he caught a glimpse of Dwayne the Rock Johnson himself opening the door. So
As that the gap starts to open and you start to see what is beyond the door, Rev.
Okay.
You see a relatively bewildered and stunned Alpha. Like, he's not down,
Okay.
but he is. You get the sense that he's kind of like doing this, like he's dazed and he's almost kind of like slamming his own head against the rock face, trying to
Okay.
just get his senses. You do notice that where the rock face would probably only be maybe like 10 feet wide, that the concussive blast has just blown chunks and chunks out of this corridor to where it's almost extended by another 5 or 6 feet of just now jagged rocks that had just been exploded and ripped apart by this grenade that was tossed.
Okay. I would like to, as quickly as I can, move up to him and use Fury of the Jackal to try to do my strongest attack to him while he's stunned.
Okay.
Because I have a move speed of 40. Can I move close enough to do that? To be in melee
Yeah,
range with him?
he's within 40 feet. He's only about 10, 15 feet away from you.
Okay.
He's
So
actually
I would
almost
like-
like walking away even farther because he's so kind of like dazed.
Because I'm in Mirage, I'd like to approach him from behind so that I can try to get as critical of a hit that I can make out of one shot, is what I'd like to do.
that's an advantage, right? Because he's like,
Well, I'm Mirage,
Yeah.
so...
Well, yeah, but I also-
Well,
next roll-
he's essentially stunned, so you're gonna get advantage on the attack, and you're
Okay.
gonna do extra stun damage.
Okay, so I need to roll to see if I hit, correct?
That is correct, but you're gonna roll twice.
Yeah, because I can use Fear of the Jackal to slash one target twice. So I roll a d6, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Well, I rolled a 6 with my first roll,
Well, that hits.
and a 4 with my second roll.
Okay, so yeah, you absolutely hit. So go ahead
Okay.
and do damage.
Okay, so I roll a skill 2, 1d10 plus 5. So, sorry, which one's the d10?
it's the one that only has 10.
Yeah.
Thank you. Helpful.
Yeah, it looks like this one right here.
That's 12.
Looks like this, almost like a
Like a diamond.
like
Okay,
a like
there
like
we
a
go,
top,
there we go.
like a top.
Got it. Like d8s and d10s look the same to me for
Yeah.
some reason. Okay. Do I roll this for damage twice since I'm hitting 2 times with my attack? Okay.
That is correct.
All right. So I rolled
Is
a
this
3.
this is the one you slashed twice at him? Is that it?
Yes, where I slashed twice. So I rolled a 3. So my first attack is 3 plus 5 is 8,
Plus stun damage, though, right?
and my second attack is an 8 plus 5, so 13. And I have my Hellfire 3 Ways of the Blade activated, so I have burn damage I can do as well.
Okay.
Boy, you is messing him up. He's gonna need some milk.
Roll a 1d6 because
Okay.
you're doing stun damage as well.
Oh, okay. Rolled a 2. So that
I'm
Okay.
just hoping Scott just looks up and goes, "Oh yeah, he's dead."
So as you see this this gigantic like lumbering beast that's not completely stunned and dazed, in
Yeah.
Mirage you just kind of like you get up close to him, doesn't even sense that you're there, and you just make 2 of the biggest kind of slices, ripping, causing these gigantic slices into his back, just tearing away flesh, as he screams out in pain, not knowing, he can't even turn around. He just kind of screams out. As he does that, he even slams some of the sides of the wall, ripping even more of the earth and rocks upon the ground, even some kind of like hitting you. But you still keep, you keep your attack strong, and you keep hitting him and slicing him, and he almost like even drops to a knee as the pain is pretty unbearable. He starts to scream and roar out, and you can feel like it's just reverberating the ground around you, as it you can see that now that these slices, like this green kind of blood, is kind of just oozing out from these wounds.
And Rev screams out, "You stay away from my children!" in fury.
Okay.
That's what he says. That's what he says.
My children. Okay.
What
He
is
gets into it. He's been chanting.
yeah?
and
What
stuff.
is Skag and what is Otis doing?
So the door's wide open. Okay.
Well, it's not wide open. It's open enough that Rev
it's open
got
enough
in.
for
Rev also
to get
remember that your Mirage is now dropped.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. and
He's
I
he's
created
visible
threat-
in front of you. You
and I
saw
created
two
threat with that attack,
two
right?
big attacks, especially for you, Skag. You saw two big slices, and all of a sudden, instantly, you see Rev
Green
just standing over to the side of him.
So the creature's on the ground, like on the knee, right?
It kind of like drops to a knee in pain.
So he's not dead though.
No, he dropped to a knee.
I've played Skyrim, man. I've seen people drop their knees and die in that game. You know?
Take an arrow to the knee, and it's just over.
Yeah, that's it. That was it. I'm working it off, but I took an arrow to the knee. So at this point, I'm just gonna lock eyes with Otis to say, "Go," as in,
go.
should we run towards it as well?
Go.
Go. So
Okay.
then both Otis and I are gonna hightail it towards
Everybody roll for your reaction.
Okay. Me too.
Yes,
Okay.
it. So it's, we roll and then whatever our minus our reaction is, right?
correct.
Awesome. I rolled a 0. Just want to put that out there.
Okay.
I got a 1.
8 minus 7. I rolled a 1 as well.
Oh,
Wow. We had great rolls.
Yeah. Okay, so Skag, you're actually at 0, so you're gonna be going first, and then Rev and Otis, you can kind of figure out which way you guys want to go. You guys want to roll like a d6?
So I've
figure out
already
who's
attacked,
next.
so I'm gonna let Otis go.
Well,
first.
you'd be right next to him, so maybe it'd be easier for you to do it since you're right next to the guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Make the stabby, Rev.
What do you want to do, Skag?
Well,
Oh, I
Skag,
want to rush. I want to rush towards it.
Okay. So again, what is your speed?
30 feet.
Okay, cool. So go ahead and you can absolutely get right up next to Rev as well, who's kind of sitting over him. And whenever you decide, you tell me what skill you want. If you can, just kind of explain the skill so when people listen to it, they know exactly what kind of skills you guys are using.
All right. I want to use. Hold on here.
Sure.
I don't know which one is the best. I'm gonna do double action,
Okay.
and it's where I pull out my shotgun and fire upon a single target, a fiery spread, allowing you to hit all additional enemies adjacent to the target, if any. In this situation, no.
Okay.
Viewers at home.
Okay. Before you do, kind of pull out is your shotgun like on your back or something?
Yeah, because
Okay.
on my sides would be my big one.
Gotcha. As you kind of like pull out your shotgun to unload these shots directly on him, you do notice that he starts to almost like he starts to smoke, almost self-combust. The fiery burn ability of Rand's blade is now starting to affect and singe his skin.
I don't feel sorry for him. I'm still gonna shoot him.
Okay.
All right. So for this one, I'm gonna roll a D8. It looks like.
Sure. Go for it.
Give me a second.
do any of you guys have abilities that can combo with fire? Because we have combo abilities too, right?
Yep.
Because there's some that like combo off of an elemental. I forget what the combos are, but
If you guys do any kind of stun,
My
you-
actually,
sure.
my shotgun does stun and burn damage.
Okay, so burn damage is just gonna.
Sorry,
It's,
can I
yeah,
play
it's
off
not gonna.
that?
It's not gonna stack.
Oh, it
Okay,
doesn't
so
stack,
burn.
okay.
Yeah, burn damage does not stack. It's always just gonna take whatever the highest burn damage is.
Okay.
But if you did anything that was cold, then you would get burned. You would get bonus damage. What you would get is kind of it's called effectual damage. That there's a status effect on them, and you're doing something that can continue to keep playing off of it.
In that case, I want to combo and say, "Your father never loved you." Cold comment. Boom. Now I hurt his feelings, and he's burning. There we go.
That's the mega burn.
Right? I rolled an 8.
A 8. You have to roll a 5 or 6 to see if you hit.
This one says D8.
A 5 or
That's
6
for
just
damage.
to hit though.
So why would I roll the D8? Why is that up there?
That's
'Cause I'm
damage,
Polish.
but you have to try to hit first.
Oh, I have to try to hit.
Yeah,
first.
so you do an
Okay.
attack and then you do damage.
Oh, 3.
Well, you're gonna do it at advantage because the guy's
I had advantage.
yeah, he's
Right.
stunned.
Oh, shoot. Oh, 4. Landed on 4.
You want to take that roll even though it fell off? I'll give you the
5. Yes. Thank
I've
you.
never. I always will give you, if you roll something that falls off a table, I never count that.
Okay.
So-
I didn't know, so I was.
If it's
sort
that,
of
or
delayed.
if it's that, or if it's off centered or something like that. So yeah, go ahead. You took the hit.
Awesome.
Now you can go ahead and do your damage.
So I can't keep the 8 that I had rolled before. I have to re-roll it.
Sure, I mean, that's fine if you want to take the
Well,
8. So it's 8 plus what? You gotta give me the numbers here, man.
This says 1d8 plus 3/5.
So it's
So
Your
3.
skill
Okay.
1, so 3.
So you're doing 12 points of damage on this guy. Wow, nice. And then give me a. No, he would not be stunned. Well, no, he'd be stunned. Go ahead and give me a d6 because he'd still be stunned. I'm giving it for this round.
4.
Jesus Christ.
yeah.
I can't open the door, but I sure know how to kill someone.
You said it was 4?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you see Otis as Skag run right up to him, pull out his double barrel shotgun, just unload these just point blank shots that he just tries to bury directly to those open wounds. And when
as I do it, by the way, I want to yell, "This is my boomstick." If
Okay.
Rev got to yell something, I'm yelling too.
As you kind of unload directly onto these wounds, when you fire these spreads, it just rips these wounds just open, and it starts to even just starts splatting around matter that was on him, just upon the walls. It's just like miniature explosions going off in this guy's back of these 2 shots. As these wounds that were like these deep cuts have now become these gigantic exposed craters of like flesh and just like this green fluid that is now oozing out of its back. It drops to the second knee as it screams out in pain. It is still alive, but is now fully, like, almost on all fours. Otis. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you have a bonus action or anything?
Oh, that's right. I could do a
Remember,
bonus
yeah, you could do a
action.
main and a bonus.
Ooh. Let me see. Do I have that one? All right. Well, then in that case, I'm going to do Beyond Fast, which is I reload and fire a single shot in the same turn. The reason I want to do that is because I quickly put away my shotgun and pull out my gun and shoot. So for that,
If you're doing this,
6.
you're reloading the shotgun.
Yeah. I haven't fired anything from the guns though, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
you had used Beyond Fast before, so you're just going to reload the
Okay.
shotgun to take only 1 shot, though.
Okay, yeah.
So
I'm
go
gonna
ahead and
roll
do
it.
that.
I rolled a 4.
Okay. Yeah, you reload it, but for some reason you just can't crack that thing back in place.
These bonus
attempt.
actions got me fucked up.
And yeah, like as you're trying to kind of like after you did this big like this is my boomstick, and you slapped it in there, you're just like, why doesn't this thing? And as you kind of crack it, your trigger finger fires on it and just shoots the shot that's off to the side.
Damn, even Skag just sucks, man.
Otis, you're up.
Did you want? Was Rev supposed to go since I was closer first?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think we determined that was the
you guys
order.
can
Yeah.
decide in the
Okay.
end which one you guys.
Yeah,
want to go first.
I'm into Rev going next.
Okay. Well, what I would like to do after he knocked him down to his knees, I would actually like to use my main to go into Mirage again.
Okay.
Right before I do, I yell back to Otis. I say, "Finish him! I'm scouting out and see what else is coming because I'm afraid that this guy's banging on the walls is bringing in reinforcements."
Oh, okay. So you're gonna actually just drop into Mirage, and you're just gonna
And I
go
want to
further
move-
down.
Yeah, I want to move down further into cave to see if I can sense anything and pass my bonus so I can re-get some exhaust back.
Sure.
Is what I like to do.
Not a problem. Go ahead, Otis.
That's minus
You
one.
see
All right,
Rev
so-
kind
sorry,
of
Can I
disappear.
get ask real quick?
Sure.
How much? It says I when I go into Mirage, I drop 2 threat, and all naturally restored exhaust increased by 1.
Mhm.
If I pass my bonus, does that mean I get 1
you-
plus 1?
yeah, you
back?
go to 2.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay, Otis, you see what exactly has transpired with Skag here. Just unloads on this 2, goes to try to do something else, and all of a sudden kind of like misfires off to the side, and then within mere seconds, Rev kind of disappears before your eyes.
I ready my gun, and I follow Skag out, and I see it. And right before I pull the trigger, I realized I haven't reloaded my gun
All
since-
day.
Yeah, I didn't reload it last night. I haven't reloaded it. So I go to reload it.
Okay.
Is
A
that
reload
that-
is a bonus.
That's a bonus?
Yeah.
Okay. So I reload it, and I am going to use... I'm going to use my main attack survival tactic. I'm going to make
Okay.
a quick ranged attack to shoot the single target, and I'm aiming towards its head.
Okay, absolutely. You again, because this thing is not completely down, it is not turned around, hasn't even been able to make an attack towards you guys. You're gonna get advantage as well.
I still don't feel bad for it. I don't care if we sucker punched it.
14. Oh, God, I rolled the wrong die.
I was like, damn, that's a hell of an attack there.
That's a big not a problem.
Nice.
Give me your
Wait, what'd you roll?
damage.
It's going to be... it's going to be 8.
Okay, give me a D6 as well.
6. Woohoo!
Blow his brains out, man.
The boys are back in town.
Okay.
Please.
So as you kind of you run up, you leave that door wide open, and you run up, you pull out your carbine, you do a quick reload, eject the cartridge, the magazine, slap a new one in. You almost kind of like you don't even scope this thing at all. You know exactly what you need to do. You know your carbine well enough that you're gonna just sight this thing, and you pull the trigger, and it just rips and explodes. And as you see this thing kind of like almost kind of like lurch back to lunge to try to make some kind of attempt to do something, taking all this damage, its head just explodes from the shot, from the thunder crack of your carbine as it rips through this thing. It creates like almost a V-shaped canoe like just right through his head as it just kind of like and just drops and thuds to the ground, and you can hear the last of the air and the oxygen in his lungs just kind of and expel out.
I'm gonna kneel down. Well, I'm near it, right? Well, now
You're essentially
walk over-
right over the top of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna kneel down right by it. I'm gonna grab some of his blood. I'm just gonna smear it down my face.
Okay.
I'm assuming I'm near him too. I'm just gonna look at him and say,
Okay, Rev, you were just kind of like going down to try to
Yeah,
look down
I
the
was
corridor.
moving into the cave to kind of see if I can get a beat on anything else coming in our position.
Okay. Did you want to take that first left? That was the way back that initially came through, or did you want to go farther down to the right? Which the kids tell you that's where they usually find them in. It's
Yeah,
the deeper
I
part of the
think-
cave.
I think if I'm gonna move to scout to see if they're coming in, I think I would head towards the deeper cave because that's
Deeper
where I
part.
would assume they would come from.
Okay. Skag, what are you doing? Now that you've
well, at
kind of
this
seen
point-
this.
at this point, I already heard his plan because he yelled it out to Otis, and I was right there. I'm aware that Otis does not have his sidekick, so there is no form of communication. So I'm going to look at you, Otis, and say, Rev is scouting. Let's get to the door, keep it open, but we'll be there in case he needs to run in and we need to close it. What do you think?
And we'll have another grenade ready too.
Okay.
And with
I'll
that,
throw
I
it this
fist bump
time.
Otis. Good idea.
I
Otis.
fist bump him as I tell him, but I'll throw it this time.
And then the
That's
grin
nice.
on my face goes away.
Nice. Rev,
Yes.
as you hear the thunder crack of the final shot that was given by Otis, that essentially just levels and floors this single alpha that had ventured right outside the door of this haven. You continue deeper into the cave, into this corridor that leads into a right-hander. As you do, you still can see Otis and Skag, and they're talking to each other, and they start to run back towards the initial door.
Right.
As you do, and because you have obviously night vision, you see just a flood of hollowed ones, skitters, ghosts, whatever you want to describe them as, flooding into the corridor that you were looking down.
Okay.
They are almost hand over fist, just crawling over the top of each other.
Just like hundreds of them, I assume. I'm just seeing.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's probably, most of these corridors are probably like 6 or 7 feet. So if
Okay.
anything, it could be hundreds, it could be 50 or whatever, but they are
Okay.
just packed coming
Okay.
this way.
And they're coming right for our
Right.
position.
I forgot to say this, but also with Otis, I wanted to, because he didn't have a psychic, I wanted to obviously alert
Yeah.
Rev over the psychic. Just pretty much just saying, we're by the door with grenade ready. You know, just
Okay.
letting him know.
So yeah,
Okay.
you definitely hear this as you're seeing this kind of like wall of these white, monstrosities coming your way. You hear from the message from these two guys as you, Otis and Skag, are looking down the corridor, going back, seeing down. He's almost out of vision shot at this point. He's almost like just like a gray, shadowy figure because he's so far away down that corridor.
Are you talking about Rev?
Yeah, that you're seeing
He's in
Rev all the
Mirage.
way down. Are you in Mirage?
I am. I went.
Okay,
to
I'm
Mirage
sorry.
to
I'm
go
sorry.
scout
Okay,
it.
so you
Yeah.
don't see him down there,
Yeah.
but you naturally assume that
Which
he
is why-
probably
which
had
is-
gone
that-
down there, right?
That was my deciding factor of not helping the scout, was because I didn't see him and I don't know
Right,
where he's going.
right.
I'd rather us be
No.
prepared by the.
Good point. Yeah, sorry about that. I forgot that you had gone to Mirage. That the side corridor that you initially came down, that is between you and Rev, you see 3 or 4 come sweeping around that corner and directly, almost kind of like pounce and start to feed on the alpha itself. And with that, you start to hear boom, boom, boom. And the corridor that is between you and Rev, you see another alpha emerge.
Ooh.
And with that, that's where we'll end our session tonight.
Oh my gosh. It's not a cliffhanger. It's a cave filler.
Again, I want to thank these awesome guys for an amazing night. I knew you guys would.
Yeah, you're welcome,
Show,
you're
you
welcome.
guys would show up and do pretty amazing things.
Oh my gosh.
You gotta love Otis. You gotta love Otis. He just rides the seesaw of emotions here. It's like sometimes he's the hero, most of the times he's not. He just likes to
Otis
back and
is
forth.
Just one big midlife crisis.
Yeah.
That's all. You know? It's bad choice after bad choice, but happy doing it.
Absolutely. Again, for all you guys who will be watching this on YouTube, we thank you so much for joining us. Again, this is a weekly RPG that we do. It's based on a game system called Horizons Unknown After Earth. It is a game system that I've created. Definitely enjoying these sessions and these arcs that we're creating here with these awesome characters. Again, if you want to follow us, you can follow me. I think the YouTube channel will be always in the descriptions for these YouTube videos. You can always find it in Ryan's channel as well, which is twitch.tv ran118. You can also find Dave here, aka Otis, under twitch.tv burger_TV as well. And you can always find him in
That's
Rand
right.
as well. He's always there. He's a mod. As well as you can find me at Mr. Shogii 3000 on Twitter. You can always find me on YouTube, which I think it's just under Scott Moses or Shogii the Hound. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what exactly it's called, but there'll always be a link for you guys to follow it on here. And you can always follow my son here, Eli, on Eli's
Pornhub.
Got Jokes or on Snapchat if you want to Snapchat him as well.
It's the same name. I use the same name for everything. guys.
Great.
Other than that, we thank you so much for being here with us.
Branding.
Add
Very,
me on
very,
Snapchat, please.
Add him on
I'm so
Snapchat.
alone.
And again, we appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much, and we'll see you when we see you. Bye.
See ya.
Good night.
Peace.
Good night.